Welcome to the after party. Welcome to the after party. Did you bring some snacks and treats?
Yes, it did.
I hope you got me something to eat.
Maybe.
Welcome to the after party. Coming to the after party.
Right now.
I've been waiting here all day to act like a fool this way. Welcome to the after party. Join us in the after party.
Right now. Thug rap.
Oh, chocolate and dabbing, maybe some microphone dabbing at the after party.
With DJ Eric, Paigey.
I'll never get over that outro on that clip. Like when I got sent that, I wish Jordan was here now because it's so funny. I'm like, you cannot tell that it just ends abruptly. It's just funny to me. Like, could have at least like extended the instrumental or something. I don't know. I'll never change it. Okay, everybody. As the song says, welcome to the after party. I am joined today by my trophies of L's. Apparently, the L Society.
Except today you're taking out the runner-up trophy. You didn't finish in first place.
Oh, that's true.
Surprisingly, like I think it's surprised the nation or the nations.
Yeah, we have no special guest. Okay, so Lance is moving. I know that. Buddy, who hasn't been here for a while, he works on Saturday, so it's hard for him to join us on Saturday. Canada Graphs, don't know. And Ben is Ben. I mean, he hasn't been here for how long now? Months? It's been
I think Hogwarts are back. I'm pretty sure semester started again.
I mean, yeah. Let me turn on the lamp over here, make it a little bit brighter over here for me.
Oh, God.
So we can see the...
Oh, goodness.
So maybe I should turn it off
again.
Turn
it back down.
All right. We have a couple of topics today. Actually, we have two shows to talk about this week. I feel how long has it been since we've had two shows to discuss? It's been probably
like
over
6
a month
weeks
now, right? Yeah.
Like 6 weeks, something like that.
We actually have some exciting stuff. I see in the chat, Justin's already talked about it. We will talk about that when we get to the Flash, because this week's episode leading into the teaser has me just, my mind is blown right now on the Flash. So we have a 99-cent super chat from Cal with nothing attached to it, no super sticker, no question. But thank you for the support, Cal. And it looks like we
Hold on.
had. Yeah,
that thing that was meant to be coming just happened. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Okay. And Thomas Scott is re-upped. He's come back as a Team Eric member. So thank you, Thomas. I do appreciate it. Okay, so we have a few topics today. They are pinned to the top of the chat, but I'm going to talk about them here for everyone. So we're going to talk about the Black Adam trailer. I'm not going to react to it because I've already seen it. It'd be sort of disingenuous for me to react to it. So we're not going to react to it, but we're going to talk about like the promo art that came out for the characters from the movie and look at some screen caps and just talk about the trailer in general, because I think Black Adam is a highly anticipated movie and I see a lot of people on social media talking about it. So I thought we would actually discuss it here. We're going to talk a little bit about the Ezra Miller stuff that dropped this week. I'm going to save it for the end of the video. And the reason why is it's actually quite serious, and it is a topic that YouTube just doesn't like for people to talk about. So I'm going to save it for the end in case I have to trim it out for playback. So if you are here watching live and you want to hear, that discussion, you need to stay till the end, because it's going to be the very last thing that we talk about, because it is quite serious. And I think it's going to mean some pretty heavy stuff for Ezra's career. So we'll do that. And then we're going to talk about this episode of The Flash and Superman and Lois. So we have 4 topics today. And I believe Paigey has a Paigey's pick. I think he says he has a Paigey's pick. So we'll get to that when we get to that. Thomas Scott with a Team Eric member for 15 months. Thank you so much, Thomas. Matt is back, happy after what Legends did. So yeah, we're going to get sort of a new ending for his character, I think, for his Reverse Flash in The Flash. So I am quite happy about that, because I honestly thought we would never, ever see him again. So that's pretty exciting. But that's all in the preview for next week, the trailer for next week. I feel like that's not too much of a spoiler. Dark Bat Productions with a $1, £1 super chat with no question attached. But thank you so much for supporting the channel. I do appreciate it. Let's see. Space Fluff. After Party will not get demonetized. It will get blocked internally. I mean, maybe it's possible. All right, so while Paigey is still taking care of his stuff, did everyone see the Black Adam trailer? It dropped a couple days ago. I actually was going to react to it on TikTok because it is really easy to do that, and they don't copyright claim music on TikTok. So I'm like, I'll react to it on TikTok, and then people will get to see my reaction. But every time I tried to start it, the audio would not record. And then I found out that TikTok sometimes doesn't allow audio for trailers. So I did not get to react to it, but I did watch it. And this is a movie that I was a little bit worried about. Simply because I didn't know how The Rock would do as Black Adam. I wasn't sure. So I was a little bit nervous about the trailer because I'm like, this is going to tell me whether or not I'm going to be invested in his version of Black Adam. And we also got to see the JSA, at least clips of the JSA. And I have some thoughts about the costume design, especially Hawkman. And so we're going to look at those and talk about those. But I actually enjoyed the trailer. I thought the trailer was pretty good. I see some discourse online from people who are like trying to pick apart like 1 second of the trailer. Which I think is a little weird. Have you seen these, Paigey? Are you back?
I just heard your last handful of words. What'd you say?
The amount of people that are trying to pick apart like 1 second of footage from the Black Adam trailer and say, "Oh, this doesn't look good" or something like that. It's a little weird, right? That I mean, I nitpick, but that's extreme. 1 second of a clip of the trailer. Like,
well, I've one additional question.
Yeah,
Are they Snyder cultists?
they are.
Okay, well then like, what's the point?
What did you think? I really liked the trailer. It got me hyped for the movie. I think I'm more excited now than I was originally after seeing the trailer. Was this one of your most anticipated movies of the year for you?
Yeah, I'm excited for the movie mainly because of the JSA. I just saw more of them in the trailer, but it's not their movie at the same time. And also they released another trailer. And I think it's pretty clear they're still finishing the movie. They're still working on VFX and stuff like that. But from what I saw, I thought it was like, yeah, look, the one thing I'm like, is it gonna connect to Shazam? Like, that's the only thing the trailer's not confirming for me.
Right.
Like, I didn't see the Rock of Eternity or anything like that in the trailer. There was one shot where maybe it could have been, but at the same time it looked different than, like, very, very different than the Shazam one. So
yeah,
but like, for the most part, it looks good, and I'm looking forward to it.
I did see that Grace Randolph said she didn't like this look because it was too comic booky for her, which I didn't really understand. It's a comic book movie. I mean, it's gonna look like a like, do we want to go back to like X-Men 1 where nobody wore costumes and everything was black leather? I just, it's a weird thing because it doesn't look bad, and actually it falls in line with the Shazam designs, which I'm kind of glad that they did. I was worried that we were going to get two very different like styles, but they're very closely related, in my opinion. Even down to the design of the lightning bolt. So I like this. I think this is a cool look, like with the ripped up hood and everything. The one thing I will say is I'm kind of shocked they didn't give him like pointy ears. Like, I thought that was a little weird that they did.
I think maybe they were just going for. It wouldn't surprise me at all if they did a test with it and it just looked silly.
So you think that I mean, because they could always just add it on in post. They could.
Yeah, but it wouldn't surprise me too much if they did a test and it just, some things just don't translate.
Yeah. So you're thinking the ears were a step too far then for the?
Well, I don't know if it's a step too far. Just maybe on the Rock they look silly.
Okay, fair enough. In the chat, do you miss the pointy ears? I'm curious. Cal Roswell became a Team Eric member. Well, you're already a Team Eric member. It's the 9-month renewal thing. So thank you so much.
Remember when I said it was really cold?
Yeah.
I'm currently eating cereal with freezing cold milk. So logic.
Some people were saying this scene was too silly. What did you think of this scene at the end where they were driving the little van and rolled up the windows? Some people were saying it was too Marvel for them in terms of Black Adam.
See, this is why the internet just... Who cares? It's gonna be like
people hate everything. I've said this before. It's so weird to me the amount of stuff that people get upset and hate. I think it's fine. I didn't have an issue with it. I actually laughed at it when I saw it. There goes another shot of the costume without the hoodie. I'm gonna say that there's not a lot of padding in the suit. I feel like this is a lot of.
No, I think I read somewhere with the Dwayne, your mate. He said that the suit originally had padding, and then he's like, "No, I'll just work out more." Mm-hmm. So it's form fitting to him for the most part.
I'm gonna say that it's a lot easier for someone who is already involved in being heavily bulky to understand how to make themselves look bulky, because as a wrestler, you know what you can eat, what you have to do, the kind of workouts you have to have. It's a lot easier for an actor who is already very physical to do this than it is for an actor who has to like adjust their entire lifestyle for a role. Because I know Zachary got it. They gave him a lot of shit because his suit had to be padded with like muscles. And, they were saying, "Oh, that's looks weird" or whatever. I don't know. I don't care. I really don't.
But then
care
people would complain if it wasn't like that either.
Yeah,
as well. Yeah.
But I think this again. The suit looks great. I mean, this looks really good to me. I think this is a really solid design. One of the things I did notice, and I don't know if this is something that maybe I overlooked, is this considered present day? Is this JSA in the present day, or is this like is this movie going to take place at two different times? I wasn't really sure.
Well, I think definitely you'll get these flashbacks in Egypt when he was right. But it looks like it's present day. It was, because wasn't there a shot of someone using a phone or something? Yeah,
that's why I'm a little bit confused, because I've always been under the assumption that in most versions of the JSA, they've been historically like an older team. So I didn't know if this was supposed to take place at the same time the Justice League existed.
I don't know. It's hard to tell, like, because you have like Hawkman's ship, it's alien, so
right.
It's all over. And then I think it's Intergang. Is it Intergang?
I think so.
That's the only group I can think of that would be a villain that because even their tech exceeds the present day. So I'm like, it must be Intertech, and maybe they stole it off Hawkman.
Yeah.
Maybe they got it off his ship or something like that. So if it's Intergang, then maybe, I don't know, it could be in the present day. It could be in the 90s. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
But I would assume it's in present day. That's just what I'd assume.
So Eric Z says Dwayne is the most accurate physique-wise since Henry Cavill as Superman. Yeah, but Henry Cavill also has changed his size for different roles. Going from that to The Witcher and other things. I've heard actors have said after they've done movies like this, that aspect of these roles is the most challenging thing. Like the regiment it takes to get to a place where you can physically look like the heroes from the comics. Because let's be honest, comics are like perfection. Like these body types are like exactly where they should be. And it's really hard for an everyday person to like succeed in that. Even for actors. This is a good question. Parth said, is this movie on Earth 2? Isn't JSA on Earth 2 only? Do you think it's a multiversal movie? Like maybe this is going to cross over with the Earth that we already know with like Flash and Wonder Woman, stuff like that? Or do you think they're going to do that? Would they do that in this film?
I'd be very surprised if it's on Earth 2.
Yeah. I have some issues with Hawkman's design, but we'll get there. I like Aldous as Hawkman, but I have an issue with it. Dr. Fate looks so good.
The one thing that annoyed me in the trailer is that they gave good shots of all the heroes, but then Dr. Fate, they put him behind one of his effects.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just show me doing his thing.
Yeah. The only thing is I don't like not having eye slits on the helmet. I wish they had eye slits on the helmet. That's the only real criticism I have, but it's not enough for me to hate it or whatever. Just more screenshots here. His backstory. See, this part of the screenshot makes it look like it took place in ancient Egypt, which It looks older. Like, look at the design on the top of the room and the clothing they're wearing. It feels like it's going to take place in 2 different times. I don't know.
Although that'll be flashbacks, and then he gets imprisoned.
Yeah. That's an impressive suit, though. What do you think of the overall like size of the wings and everything for Hawkman?
I like it because it makes it look alien.
Yeah, for sure.
I saw people complain they didn't have like the ones from like Justice League or whatever, like the animated stuff or some of the cartoons where it just looks like literal feathered wings. I'm like, but that looks like it'd be alien.
Okay. Let's take a quick look at all the individual designs of the other characters. So here's Hawkman without the wings, but you get to see like the shield and the mace and all of that. The only thing I don't like are the wings on the helmet. I just don't like how they look. Something about them feels weird to me. I know we've had lots of different iterations of the winged helmets. I like everything on the suit except for how the wings flare out like that. I know it's probably wild to say, but I like the design of the helmets from the CW shows because they were more stylized. They weren't actual like wings on them. They just came up to a point. I kind of like that a little bit better. But outside of that, I think the suit looks really good. And I think the wings are probably the best wings we've had on any of the Hawkmen. I think if I were to, I mean, do you count Naomi? You count the wings in that one? I don't know.
I guess he was Thanagarian, but he wasn't Hawkman.
So in the chat, curious, does everybody like the Hawkman design? Let us know in the chat. All right, next character we're going to look at is Dr. Fate. Obviously, perfect actor. What were you thinking when you heard that he was cast as Dr. Fate?
I loved it.
I mean, this is like one of those Professor X things for me where like they picked the perfect, like
they picked the right guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I'm just wondering is like how much is he going to be like out of the, because they got Pierce Brosnan, so they're going to try and like use as much Pierce Brosnan as they can on screen.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'm wondering.
Because he is such a big name,
Yeah, and it was also just someone you wouldn't expect to do a role like this as well.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see how much like he is Dr. Fate and how much he's like in and out of the helmet.
He's not in his actual combat suit here, but we saw it in that shot and in the trailer, even though it's like behind like these refractive magic things or whatever. Yeah. But I think it looks, from what I've seen, I think it looks really good. So I don't have a lot of complaints over that. All right, here we have Cyclone. And I don't know a lot about this character, I'll be honest.
Well, do you know the fun fact about this?
What's that?
It was meant to be Stargirl. But then they did the TV show, so they replaced Stargirl with Cyclone.
Okay. Now, I do know, I've seen the character in the comics, but as far as like a backstory to Cyclone, I don't know a lot about Cyclone as a character. But I think this looks really cool. It's a very different design because it's got like that armor on it, but it's also like flowy, almost bohemian kind of.
Well, I think it's meant to be like when she uses her powers, it like flows and it looks like it whips around or something like that.
Yeah, I think that looks great. Has there been a lot of controversy about this? Because I know they changed the character from the comics. Has there been a lot of discourse about Cyclone? I haven't really seen it because I don't know any diehard Cyclone fans that would be so concerned about.
I don't know.
The character.
If there has, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen if there has been any.
Yeah. So, Stagger Warrior with the 1-9 super chat. Could Dr. Fate end up having his own film? I mean, it's possible.
I would rather just avoid any sort of solo stuff and just get a JSA film.
Yeah. Doing the individual films would be something that would be like super like just for money at a certain point.
And also, the JSA like they work much better as a group. Like the JSA is a much better group than the Justice League because the Justice League members, for the most part, can have their individual stories and stuff like that. But I think the JSA are better when they're together.
And you've said this before. You are more a fan of JSA than you are Justice League, correct? I mean, that's
100%. Because the JSA actually feels like a proper group.
Yeah.
And it feels like there's like history to it, if you want to put it.
Yeah. Darkbat with a £2 super chat. I'm excited to see Dr. Fate the most. Dr. Fate is a character that I think a lot of people have wanted to see in live action in a proper movie. So I think there's a lot riding on how he's done. But I will say this, it isn't a Dr. Fate movie. It's Black Adam. So be prepared if you only get like 2 or 3 scenes of him using his powers. Like, just be prepared. What do we think of the design of Cyclone? Everybody okay with it? Not okay with it? I like the colors, and I'm excited to see what she's going to do with this character. All right, lastly, we have Atom Smasher. Now, you know what I love about this suit? This suit is so comic book accurate, except for obviously made more modern. But it actually looks to me like in the detailing, it looks to me like the Flash movie, like the costume designs from that movie. So it all feels like it's in the same universe in terms of like texture and stuff like that. This is something that DC is doing that Marvel has been doing for a while, but Marvel's is different. Their suits have a specific Marvel look to them. And I'm glad that DC is sort of like having their own stamp on their costumes in films as well, which kind of came, I want to say, from like the Man of Steel suit, where you get that really like cool patterns on the materials. And I really like it. So out of all the suits, I think this is my favorite design. And the effects of Atom Smasher in the trailer looked really good too, as well. So what did you think of this character and this design overall?
Yeah, I like it. I saw we get like, I think there's even one comment there, like it's DC Pool trying to say like it's the Deadpool
because of the mask, the diamonds
thing,
around
and
the
like
eyes.
well, you could say that about literally anything where they don't show eyeballs, like what about Moon Knight and all these other characters, like so. I mean, what did you expect him to do here? It's also from the comics. He looks like he's from the comics. That's just the general comic book thing where they don't, show the eyeballs or the, the pupils and stuff. That's what they look like.
People have been asking for more suits where the white eyes are actually white, and so they're doing that. And I think we should give them credit for that. There's a lot of superheroes that have just solid white eyes or yellow.
Yeah. But I am interested to see like if his thing is tech based, or because didn't they say that is it Henry Winkler is playing the original Atom Smasher?
I believe so, yes.
So I wonder if it's tech or it's power based.
Right.
I'm going to assume it's tech. And maybe and then obviously, but I'm assuming maybe Henry Winkler's thing is a cameo or something like that.
Okay. We have a Team Eric member chat from Naruto. It says The Rock hijacked Summer Game Fest for his movie. See, a lot of times I feel like that's all planned. Like they talk about that beforehand and they make it seem like it's, remember how the Tom Holland stuff promoting Spider-Man, it always seemed like he was leaking stuff or he was saying stuff he wasn't supposed to say. I feel like all of that is planned stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I think maybe the first one wasn't, but I think since then it's all been intentional.
Like they know the fans like it. They like when that kind of stuff happens.
It's a form of advertising. Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. So general thoughts in the chat on the Black Adam trailer and the costume design. Curious what everybody thinks about it. I like the trailer. I think it's gotten me more hyped for the movie. Obviously, the VFX are not done. The movie doesn't come out until October, I believe. The end of October.
And like last week or two of October.
But I'm really excited for it. There are some changes, obviously, from the comics to live action. You're going to see that all the time. I would say the trailer hype level for me is like an 8 out of 10. I'm really excited about the JSA, and this feels like a very good introduction to that team and those characters. So we'll see what the next trailer does. How many trailers do you suspect we'll get between now and October?
You probably get one more main official trailer, then you probably get little just teasers and stuff like that. Because I think they only released it now because they wanted to put it in front of the new Jurassic World movie thing. Yeah. And then also it can play along other summer movies. So I think they just wanted to get it out there now. But like what October? So you got July, August, September. You might get one in like beginning of September or something.
Right
like
before the next big movies come out or whatever. So speaking of the Jurassic World movie, have you seen it yet? Did you go and see it?
No, probably.
First of all, are you a big fan of that franchise or no?
Oh, Jurassic Park is like one of my like top 10 movies
Right.
ever. But my issue with the franchise is that Jurassic Park is actually a good movie, while I think the other ones are like just okay movies. And then there's like
Right.
Fallen Kingdom, which is so bad it's funny.
Yeah. So I would say my least favorites are from the original trilogy would be the third movie, I think was the worst one. And then Fallen Kingdom is definitely the worst from the new trilogy.
Like I like Jurassic Park 3 over Fallen Kingdom.
Fallen Kingdom feels like two movies that don't quite work in the same film.
It's like a disaster movie mixed with like a
Haunted house.
haunted house, yeah, sort of like
Yeah.
Saw or whatever, like some weird horror movie thing. And like,
I enjoyed this Jurassic Park. I'm not going to give any spoilers or Jurassic World. I just wanted to see a fun race and chase monster movie. I didn't care about anything else, and it delivered on that. The effects were really good. We got to see characters from the old franchise come back. I thought it was good. I know a lot of people are going crazy and just taking it way too seriously online. Like their scoring of it and people that are looking for this high art, like this elevated, movie. It's a monster movie. Like I think
it's because of what the first one was.
The first Jurassic Park.
The first Jurassic Park, because the first Jurassic Park is legitimately like
it's an experience. It's magic.
It's not even that. It's like borderline like a perfect movie in regards to its execution and what they wanted to do. And then like I didn't really like the direction they went. Like I think I haven't seen the third one, but from what I've heard, it's sort of like the opposite of Fallen Kingdom, where with Fallen Kingdom the beginning is good and the ending is bad, but with Dominion the beginning is bad and the end, like the back half is good.
Yes, it is very slow, but the problem is they had to try and set up. There's two stories in this movie. You got the stories with the original actors from the original trilogy, and then you have the story with the new actors, and then it takes a while for them to like merge that together. And then once that happens, the movie gets really good. So it takes a while to get there. And I'll admit it does stumble, but I didn't really care. It was a cool dinosaur movie. We got to see all of the dinosaurs we love again. I went into it with like the mind of like a kid, like seeing stuff that I loved when I was younger, and I just wanted to be entertained by it. It's very rare that I go into a movie and I don't nitpick it. But this movie really, I didn't see any reason to nitpick this movie. I thought it was well done. I know, again, critics are going crazy on it. And you're right. Matter of fact, you're not the only person that said that to me about like the first Jurassic Park being such a huge movie. Like it was a game changer. It was a cinematic masterpiece.
Well,
honestly.
It's the reason that special effects are like what they are now.
Yeah. The problem is that no movie in that franchise would ever beat that first movie. So every sequel you do is going to have diminishing returns, no matter what you do, because of how big the first one was. But I think this was a good wrap up to the story. And if people don't want to pay to see it in theaters, that's fine. I still would say watch it when it comes out at home if you enjoyed any of the Jurassic Park stuff. All right. So before we start talking about Flash and Superman and Lois, did you want to do your Paigey's pick? I'm worried. I have no idea.
Nah, it's not edgy. It's not edgy. Or is it? No, it's not. Or is it? I'm not too sure.
We'll talk about the Joker 2 thing in a second. I really have very little to say about that. We'll do that after Paigey's pick. Thank you for bringing that up, Thomas.
Okay. Right. Paigey's pick for this week is... Are you ready? Mm-hmm. Top songs that Eric sings after the after party each week.
Is this a countdown, like a top 5, top 10?
It's not a top 5. It's just 5.
Oh, just 5. Okay, no order. Just 5.
Well, maybe it is the order. I'm not too sure.
Okay,
it's up to you to decide. I mean, they're songs that you sing. So,
okay. All right, here we go. Exactly. Look. Exactly. DMCA time. Exactly.
Well, it won't be me. It'll be you. If you start singing them, then that will be the DMCA. I'm not. You're the one that usually just randomly outbursts in singing and song tunes. First one I got "I'm Still Standing" by Elton John.
I love that song.
Because you have not been taken down by a DMCA or a copyright strike or
the amount of L's that I get.
Don't get too cocky. But I think that's I could see you whenever the stream ends, you just get up and you go, Yeah, and just like, oh, thank God. It didn't
Yeah,
happen.
that one, right.
Next up, I got I Will Survive.
What, Diana Ross or Gloria Gaynor?
Gloria Gaynor, whichever
So,
version you want, Eric.
the OG one.
Yeah.
So,
Once again, that's you. I would. There is the argument, and I know someone's going to bring up in the chat that you would sing it during the stream, and this is like mid me saying something stupid.
yeah,
Or
the
mid-me
beginning of
singing.
that is so easily detectable that I would not sing that.
Okay.
That's also a very popular karaoke song, by the way.
Trust you to know.
Yeah.
Next up, I got Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit.
Oh,
And this is when the DMCA notice comes in. And
yeah.
this was the song that Eric sang when after the Unabomber incident. When the Unabomber came
Yes,
out.
I would have, but let's not reignite that entire thing with that.
Yeah, so when the
situation.
Unabomber incident happened, I'm sure Eric was indeed breaking stuff while singing this song. Can we get a confirmation on that?
Confirmed.
And I was elsewhere, like hesitantly laughing.
That was so funny because I almost lost my channel. Like I literally was like, "Am I going to lose my whole channel over this?" That was pretty bad.
If that had happened, what would your next? If you got the official confirmation your channel was done, what would your DM to me have been?
I don't know. Well, first of all, I would have petitioned to get my channel back. I would have had 1 million people. On
Would you have done a exposing Paigey video?
I would have called you the war stew of the after party then at that point. So
Yeah, someone's asking what a Limp Bizkit is.
nobody's asking that, and I'm not going to answer that. Nobody. When you said that, I looked to see it. I'm like, nobody's asking that question. So
No, someone asked. Who was it?
I'm not explaining it.
It was Cody in a super chat.
Right. He didn't. I saw his super chat. It was not about that. All right.
The fourth song. This is after King Mike Todd's just sent that in. Money, Money, Money by ABBA.
ABBA, classic sing-along music.
Can we get a confirmation that's it was either that or it was the Apprentice theme song?
No, the ABBA for sure.
What is that because it's associated with Trump?
I used to love that show, by the way. It's got a lot of interesting.
Well, you quoted "You're Fired" the other week.
I did actually. Yeah, that's probably the best thing to ever come out.
See,
of the show.
Justin Shields asking who's Limp Bizkit.
I'm not answering it. What's the next one? Yeah.
And the last one. I mean, take a guess.
Return of the Mac.
Nah, Thong Song by Cisco.
Oh, I was close. It's both on.
You're in the general realm of it.
Yeah. That that one. Yeah.
No, dumps like a truck. But also,
it's so wild. People still ask you to sing that every week. Somebody will say, "Sing thong song." It's like
what in the chat?
World. Yeah, always.
Well, it's just iconic Eric video moment. And Eric, no, because that was the thing. It was a meme on the after party before Legends, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then Legends played Thong Song.
Yeah.
Maybe what's her name?
This isn't a bad song either. Lifehouse, you and me.
Yeah, I don't know if you'd sing that.
I wouldn't
after
but
the after party.
But it's a good
But I have a
song.
question of the week. This is different from Paigey's pick.
All right.
Because someone asked me this during the week when I was out, and I was like, "Oh, okay, bit of a random conversation," but I thought I'd bring that real life conversation to the after party. So, Eric, you're going to answer it, and then people in the chat can answer it as well. So it's a bit of a community question, if you want to call it. What movie makes you cry that most people probably wouldn't think would?
A movie that makes you cry that you wouldn't normally, like, people wouldn't.
That if someone said you're going to
cry.
watch this movie, you wouldn't think you would cry in the movie.
Wouldn't think I would.
Yeah.
So something unassuming then.
Yeah.
Basically.
Unexpected.
Because a movie that I always cry at, that I think a lot of people cry at, is Lion King, the animated Lion King. That one's like, it's got a bunch of sad moments in it.
Is that when they sing Hakuna Matata?
Yes, that part. When Pumbaa's farting.
I think I can resonate with that moment.
I don't know.
I've got to answer because it's a weird one.
Let me think for a second. And I'm
Do you want to
curious
give
what
my
the chat
answer?
thinks. Yeah, go ahead and give me your answer.
My answer is the end of Happy Gilmore.
Oh, really?
And it's like, I think it's because they play that Tuesday's Gone song by Lynyrd Skynyrd, I think. I think that's just like a sad song. But also, it's a really fucking stupid thing because there's a waving alligator, and I think Abraham Lincoln is in the sky waving back at Happy Gilmore at the same time.
I'm trying to think if there was a movie that made me emotional that wouldn't be considered like an emotional film. This is going to be weird, probably, but the scene in Man of Steel where what? No, the scene where his father is like, don't come after me or whatever, and you see him standing there.
The tornado scene.
Yeah.
Oh,
what? It's a sad scene. I teared up on that scene.
oh, you're a funny man, Eric. You're a funny man.
It's true. It's true. I had tears on that one. All right, so that was Paigey's pick.
Oh.
Somebody's gonna have to make a screenshot of me crying next to that shot from the movie, or like while the movie's going. So funny. It's like,
so while everyone else was laughing in the theater when that moment happened, you were crying.
Yeah, I was crying.
Yeah, Snyder's sin from Julian.
Cody with a $5 super chat, Team Eric member. I love OG Jurassic Park. It's a little too perfect, honestly. Would you agree with that, Paige? You think the first one was too perfect? Like, you think that's haunted the franchise since?
I think because I think the Lost World picks up from it. Like, and if I've read both of the books as well. Like, and the books are different than the movies, but I think that trilogy, even Jurassic Park 3, is fine because Jurassic Park 3, regardless of its execution, still I think goes in like a natural territory for that franchise. My only difference with Jurassic Park 3 would be it should have been on the island where the park was. But, and I don't know if it's ever mentioned in the movies, but in the book it got like nuked. It got like napalmed or whatever, so it shouldn't have been able to go on, which makes Jurassic World a bit of a question because it doesn't look like that happened at all. But like I think it had that opening trilogy does it in like a decent progression, but I think the effect of what the Jurassic franchise is now is just other movies, and like you have to be over the top or go that next level. You can't, like, if Jurassic Park came out nowadays, I don't know what it would be, like what the reception to it would be, or like how they would make it.
Well, because like you said, that first movie revolutionized visual effects for cinema, so it's,
and it was also something that people hadn't seen before,
right?
Like having those this type of stuff going on. So yeah.
So let's talk about the Joker briefly. The announcement of Joker 2. So King Mike Todd's with a $10 super chat, $9.99 super chat, said, I got called stupid for saying the Joker 2 is pointless. First one kind of annoyed me because the Joker is a complete psycho maniac and doesn't care about people. That people love him more than Batman. I don't know if they love him more than Batman. I don't know about that. But I will say there was a charm to that first movie that for me began and ended the story. Like, I feel like there was no reason to do a second film based on that character without introducing Batman. It just seems like a waste of time to me, for me personally. So I don't think that necessarily means it's going to be a bad movie. I don't think that the story is going to be bad. I just don't see the purpose in it or the point in making a sequel to that movie because it did really well. Maybe that's why they want to make that money and recapture that money. So Thomas, isn't every movie pointless? No, I don't think so. I think if a movie has something to say and it needs extra movies to say that, that's fine. But this one seems like a cash grab to me. Like,
it is. It's
the sequel to this feels like a cash grab.
The
first movie was so good and told such a real story about the Joker. I don't know what the purpose of the second movie is other than to make money for Warner Brothers.
Yeah, but the first one was pointless as well. Like, I remember everyone trashed it when it was announced.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of people that said they were excited about it.
No, people only started getting excited about it when Joaquin Phoenix was attached.
Well, maybe. I was one of the people where I didn't want to see it, not because I necessarily thought it was totally pointless, but I just didn't see the purpose in a Joker story without Batman. I didn't know what they were going to do with it.
Well, that's where I think the pointless stuff comes up, because it's just like constantly having these comic book characters put in worlds without any of these other comic book characters. And like, I think it's pretty clear with Joker, it was another draft script that had nothing to do with the DC universe, and they just swapped names
Probably.
around.
I will agree with that.
Like in the script, they just changed New York to Gotham. They changed like,
But the
Arthur
beauty
Fleck
of it
probably
was
just his name.
they played it off as like an Elseworlds
yeah,
one-off.
and
story.
that's the thing. Like they achieved it. Like they made $1 billion, won 2 Oscars. Like, you know, and now they're going to make a sequel, which will it make $1 billion again? I don't know, because the first Joker only just crossed $1 billion and only just got over $1 billion.
And on top of that, the interest in seeing what that kind of movie would have been like is gone. We already know what that world is and what that character is.
The only difference is depending on what the actual story is and who's involved. Like that's what will generate.
Would you say it's more it's just a problem to have a Joker in a world with no other villains, no Batman, no, like, what are you gonna do? Is it just gonna be him versus Gotham Police Department?
Well, that's like, I think the concern that most people have is like, what is the story? Because this was his like journey into this other version of himself,
right?
So what's this sequel? Because
And
they're not
the
going to have
movie is-
Batman in it, like,
Right.
you know that.
The movie's unsettling also. Like, I watched it one time and that was it. I didn't need to see it again after that. It's a very tough movie to get through for me. I was like, this is he was very committed to that character, and I have to give him credit for that. But it's not a movie for me that I want to go back and watch. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that kind of film.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I want to see a sequel for that movie, to be honest. So, all right. The chat seems a little bit torn on it too. Some people are excited about it. Some people.
The thing is that it's one of those things where we have to wait till there's a trailer, because for the first one, remember when the set photos came out? People were making fun of that.
Yeah.
They're memeing it.
Yeah, because they were saying how cheap everything looked, like the costume and the makeup.
Yeah, like he just looked like a clown, like a
which is literally what he was. I mean, that's what he was. Amethyst, if you're talking about the new movie, yes, I did like it. I think it's a fine summer movie. If you're talking about the original, like the first of this new trilogy, I thought it was okay. It wasn't bad. I'd say my favorite would be this one, and then that one, and then the second one. So that's the order that I'd place the new ones in. Naruto here with a $5 super chat. Do you think the story arc is when Eobard finds out he's Reverse Flash, or finds out the Flash's what? When Eobard finds out he's what are we talking about here?
We're saying, is it the origin story?
That what we're getting on the Flash for the final arc? Is that what
It's
he's
the
saying?
origins. It's the origin story of their rivalry. That's what he's trying to say.
I don't know if that's what we're gonna get.
I think that's what we're gonna get.
I mean, it might be.
We're in a position where someone's taking a W, someone's taking an L.
Right.
Which one would it be?
Because we're talking based on the fact that Matt Lesher is there. Is that what you're saying? Like,
I think it was because of Cecile's new powers. I think that's what.
What are her new powers?
Oh, haven't you heard? She's leveling up.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, I don't know. I'd be okay with that. I don't have a problem with that. Anything Reverse Flash, I'm willing to like. I'm on board for it. Multi-topic with the $2 super chat. Just showing some support, keep up the good videos. Thank you so much, Multi-Topic Talk. I appreciate it. Yeah, a lot of people have been saying like I'm doing videos almost every day, like except for Fridays now, which is a new pace for me on my channel. So,
and we're still waiting for the twerk off. Like it's ridiculous.
Keep waiting for that one. Crazy Cat Lady with the $5 super chat. What take Ezra Miller to get fired from Warner Brothers? We'll talk about that at the end of this video. I'm saving it for the end because it is a very serious topic. And I want to wait so that way if I have to cut it out of the video, I can just cut it out of the end of the video.
Instead of right now.
Yeah. So right, because then it takes forever and the video isn't public for people. So we're going to wait because I have a feeling YouTube may not like me talking about that story. And I'm going to be very careful about the way I address things because I know everybody's already seen the story. So we'll go from there. But thank you for the super chat. We'll get there. All right. So this week's Flash, 8/17, I think it is. Keep it dark. I used filler in the title here. I know it's not a filler episode because this was like, there's a lot of stuff with Barry and Mina and Reverse Flash and everything.
It was filler. You don't have to skip around the.
But the Allegra stuff was so bad.
It was fucking terrible. It was so bad.
don't know why that wasn't the B plot and the stuff with Barry was the A plot. Like, I don't understand why we devoted so much time to Allegra this week.
I'm pretty sure I know why.
Okay, go ahead.
So this season was originally meant to be 18, and then it got bumped up to 20.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if we're looking at 2 episodes which probably didn't exist before, and then were included later, were Old Man Barry and this Allegra episode.
Right.
So it's clear that either the stuff with Mina was meant to be in a previous, like maybe in episode 15 or something like that, or would have been right at the beginning of episode, the next one, which would have been 16, I guess.
So I had this later in my notes, but I do, since you brought that up, I do want to bring this up here. Do you think, because the Barry that we got in these 2 episodes, this episode and the previous episode, felt very season 1, season 2. Like they had to use, actual intelligence to figure out what was going on. The team sort of worked together. Barry got to do some investigating. We got to see the Flash doing Flash stuff. That stuff all felt good to me, but it also felt like some of it was unimportant in terms of like the storyline. So what you're saying probably is true, but then with Allegra, they had an opportunity to actually do something with her character, and yet again, nothing really changed.
They put her in an environment with, once again, one of those 2 magic words that are really annoying when they're trying to develop a side character.
What do you mean?
No Barry.
Oh, a story by herself without Barry. Right.
Yeah, and then right at the end of the episode, they go, "Oh, Barry, you missed all this development."
Yeah.
Allegra was awesome.
So,
like, what?
Just in a nutshell, the Allegra storyline, I guess we have to discuss it a little bit. She's in control of CCC Media because Iris is still missing.
For once.
Which
I'm missing for a handful of episodes.
If there's one positive thing I could say about the Allegra storyline is they address something that I've been complaining about, which is the fact that CCC Media was supposed to be a 24-hour online news organization that had nobody running it, which I thought was weird. So I'm glad they addressed that. I just don't like that they handled it this way. And then you have like angry employee number 2, number 1, whatever her name is, the girl that has an issue with Allegra. What is her name?
Oh, Philippa.
It's not her name.
It's Taylor.
Taylor. Okay, I knew it was.
I was trying to gaslight Eric into just starting to call her Philippa for the rest of the stream.
No, I knew that wasn't it. Who finally had the opportunity. See, I feel like this rivalry was supposed to happen earlier in the season, like right after that first thing with her. Like, I feel like this was supposed to happen somewhere else.
Do you want some breaking news? Just came out. It's actually 6 hours old.
What's that?
Did you see it?
Mm-mm.
Okay. In 3 days, Morbius is on Blu-ray and 4K Ultra HD. So only 3 days to go. It's out now on digital.
Get
it on Blu-ray and 4K in 3 days.
It's Morbid time. So that was the problem with the Allegra stuff there. Then we had the fact that this gang, the Spiders, in Spanish, the Arancas, I think is what it was called, Arancas, with Dr. Light and Sunshine, that she was involved with, Lydia was involved with, her deceased cousin was involved with. Like, when she introduced this, she's like not telling them who Ultraviolet was. Clearly they were going to figure out who it was. And this leads into the secret that was introduced like a couple episodes ago, where she was talking to Taylor about keeping a secret and whatnot. That was used this week, which, Paige, you predicted the future because you said,
what is new? Genius moments.
You're like, that scene is going to be in the Allegra episode.
Yeah. That's like Paigey, I think they call it.
Yeah. And then she ends up having like this moment where she's able to fight both Dr. Light and Sunshine at the same time, and then Chester helped them with his technology, and Lydia's being chased after.
Well, did you see them? Did you find the hilarity in the fight?
I mean, the whole thing was funny. Well, yeah, go ahead.
It seems like Allegra's powers are only useful against other light-based powers.
Right.
Yeah. Which we've obviously versed a lot of them on the Flash.
Yeah. So does that mean anytime she's out in the field, it's going to be against Dr. Light and Sunshine? Is that what
I guess. Now, every villain, if Allegra has to go in the field, the villain has to be light-based.
So we see that going on. Also, I thought it was a little weird that she somehow was altering her identity on photographs and videos, but not in real life. Like that was weird. Plus Cecile was still out in the field. She doesn't have any way to block her identity. So that was kind of strange. But then it didn't matter because she revealed her identity to the rest of CCC media, which, by the way, I feel like that would make it easy for them to figure out who everybody else is. But whatever, I guess. And Dr. Light and Sunshine don't want to be exposed as villains running a gang when they're already known as wanted villains and criminals. Anyway,
Dumps like a jerk.
was there anything redeemable about that storyline at all? I just feel like
it was
nothing
dog.
redeemable.
It was dog shit.
Really bad.
It was really bad. I've seen people saying it was good. I'm like, man, you can't defend that. It was just like, I think the clear thing, and it has nothing to really do with the acting. I think the acting was just fine in the episode. There was nothing like, over dramatic. There was no like Cecile side ducking or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think this episode, confirmed Allegra's just not a very good character at all. Like there was always, I think the episode last season confirmed that. Mm-hmm. But if that didn't push people over the line to realize that just Allegra is not a good character, I don't know how this episode couldn't have done that if last season's one didn't do it.
Yeah. The other thing is, I think this also confirms that she's not interesting enough to get any more storylines. Like, I don't think there's any point in.
I don't know how you could sit in the writer's room and go, I've got a good story for Allegra, because if I think anyone with that, was just had any common sense would go, cap.
Yeah. By the way, I see somebody talking about I miss Ralph. And there was actually an interview that I sat through the other day that talked about, Eric's plans for that character. And they asked him to talk about like what actually happened behind the scenes. And he refused to do that. He didn't want to talk about anything that went on behind the scenes with that. Because everybody knows that he was judged a bit harsher than some of the other people who have done.
He was used as like a tool.
Yeah. It was the timing. The timing of that stuff coming out was also a problem as well. But he said, because they talked about possibly recasting Ralph, and Eric Wallace said there is absolutely no plans for that character at all. They just
at this point, like, I think once you started season 7, like you got halfway through and there was nothing with Ralph, like that whole even just thing being a possible reality was out the door.
Yeah. Silent Angel, the $5 super chat. I'm missing Jenna line was hilarious. So yes, we did get to see that. So I saw some people complaining that Jenna had a Batwoman backpack, and I'm like, what? Why are you complaining about that? What? I mean, we've already seen.
Didn't Chester have a Supergirl lunchbox or something?
Yeah, I mean, these characters get marketed like they do in
that's what I mean. People just get mad over anything.
Yeah. They were like, it was
literally on screen for
backpack? Like Batwoman was canceled, and I'm like, that doesn't.
It was on screen for like a second as well. Yeah. It wasn't even like they lingered on. It's like, oh, look at this new Batwoman lunchbox or whatever.
This is an Easter egg. That's what that is. It's just an Easter. It's just there for us to go, that's cool. She has a Batwoman backpack. That's all that was. There was no bigger meaning to that at all.
Yeah.
And Malik says the Batwoman stands got mad, probably because they know the show is canceled and not coming back. I get it. But it was. And just
also, this episode was filmed before Batwoman was canceled.
Yeah. The other thing is the fact that Jenna is just completely off screen all the time is.
I'm fine with that. I really don't understand this fascination with Jenna being on screen.
I'm not mad about it either. I just think it's funny that they just like, we're not going to see Jenna again until she's like 10 years old, like if that.
Yeah. The fascination is really weird.
Yeah. All right. So. The Barry stuff, the good stuff, which took up the least amount of time on the episode, was him dealing with this new speedster in Central City, who people believe is him because clearly he's been the only speedster there. We've not had any other speedsters like Excess or Impulse, but they believe it's him. So they think it's him running around saving people. Okay, fine. But it happens at Ivo Labs, and there's an explosion, and they have to go there to investigate and use all of their sciencey stuff to figure out that the actual speedster caused the explosion and then save the people. And then, we jump through a bunch of hoops, and then Barry goes to see Thawne, which, by the way, great scene. Tom Cavanaugh, Grant
Scenes is plural.
Just
DJ
great,
Eric.
great stuff with them. This for me was next to the end of the episode, the best part of the episode.
Yeah.
Like
that was the thing. It was like that was pretty much you just whenever the Allegra stuff came. I think it was like the second or third scene of the Allegra stuff out of the 74 that they did. If it felt something like 74 scenes. I was just like, do I even bother writing notes for this Allegra thing? Because I know it's not going to matter at the end of the day. I was like, should I just like try and remember what it is of like the limited like half paying attention? Because you're just waiting for the Barry and Eobard stuff to come back in.
Yeah.
Like whenever they cut away, like, oh, come back. Like that's what you were thinking to yourself. Yeah. It was like, you know what it's like? It was like having like a really good burger. But the fries are shit. Like they are dry, they are unseasoned, the oil hasn't been changed. It just wasn't good. So you take the bite of the burger and you're like, look, I want to savor that burger. But then you're going to deal with these terrible fries and they're just like they're just.
And all you want is more burger. That's all you want.
You're just like, can I just get another burger? I'd rather have two burgers than just one the burger and this terrible.
Can my side dish just be the burger too?
Yeah. Or it's like having a really good chalk, but you can't complement it with a really good twerk. So you're going to get judged really heavily. All right. Because they got to go hand in hand.
So Amethyst here says, do we know exactly what the next story arc for the Flash? It's going to be related to the Reverse Flash storyline. And we've already released the title for the finales, the penultimate, the finale, which is negative. So
book 1, they went Black Lightning. They didn't go just standard. They decided to Black Lightning up the titles with book 1 and book 2.
Right. For
no reason as well. Like I don't think there's going to be, or is it Mandalorian? I don't even know what Eric Wallace was going with the titles.
So anyway, we have a super chat from Staggervore here. I don't really have an issue with Allegra as a character, but I feel her story is too disconnected from the main plots. See, the issue is Allegra doesn't fit in with the rest of the show.
So that's where the issue with her as a character comes from.
Yeah. Maybe
so when you say that like she's disconnected from the main plots, then you actually do have an issue with the character because that's the issue with the character that she doesn't connect and doesn't really fit in.
Right. And that's the writer's fault and the showrunner's fault.
Oh, it's 100%. It's the writing. Like, the actress is fine. Like, she's not like amazing, but she's also not like. We've had 10 times worse actors show up on some of these Arrowverse shows and just TV in general.
Yeah.
But the writing is just not good. And as I've said before, I would put $100 on the fact that the only reason she's in the show is because Eric Wallace created her in the comics. That's the only reason this character exists on the show.
Okay, so E. Clark, I think I've covered this before in a few videos, but it's because Tom Cavanaugh is easier to get and has more chemistry with Grant.
Well, no, they actually explain it on the show.
No, they will, but this is
they have explained it on the show.
What did they say on the show?
When the Exorcism of Nash Wells episode.
But what their explanation? None of the explanations they've ever used has made any sense to me. But explain it again.
What do you mean?
What was their? Because I remember them explaining it, but none of their explanations make any sense to me. So tell me.
So the version of Wells that went into the Speed Force that got trapped there, that came out at the end of season 7 to, I guess Darth Vader, Godspeed. I don't know, is that the term you'd use? I think so. That version that went in was the one that was trapped within Nash, which was the Wells version.
What?
Remember when they
No, I do remember, but that doesn't make any sense to me.
I thought you knew this. I'm surprised. I'm surprised.
So
I thought we talked about
okay, all right. So we have, but no explanation on the show to me has ever really made any sense, and let me explain why. Because when we have Eobard come back from the future to the past, and he takes over Wells's body, in order for that sequence of events to happen, that storyline cannot change. Once he takes over that body, he has to stay until he's erased from reality, because that is the way those events play out. Anytime that version of Wellsabard goes somewhere, we immediately lose how the Flash season 1 played out. So for me, there's no explanation that makes any sense. I always just assume it's because Tom Cavanaugh is available and he has great chemistry with Grant Gustin, because no other explanation makes any sense to me. That's why I've always felt that way about it. He should always look like Matt Lesher. Always, in my opinion, unless he's from another Earth or another timeline. I mean, seriously, there's no way it would make sense otherwise.
Wait, say that again.
The whole thing.
I'm just
the whole thing.
I'm just cheering you up.
No, I get it. Like, I understand the show has tried to make an explanation for it, and I give them credit for trying to explain it. But
if you want the simple
real reason is why Tom Cavanaugh.
If you want the simple answer is they wanted to use Matt Letcher in season 5, they couldn't get him, he was busy, so they used Tom Cavanaugh, so they stuck with it. And then they used that, and then they used season 6, wasn't it? It was season 6 to try and cement
with the Nash storyline,
which they did, and it makes sense based off what they did in that episode.
Within if you go
their
back logic,
to,
yes.
But if you go back to season 5, they wanted to use Matt Letcher. It's clear that Matt Letcher was meant to be a thing. I've heard that it was because he was doing Narcos at the time or some other show, so they couldn't get him for that period of time. So they had already had Tom Cavanaugh doing, was he Sherlock in that season?
Yeah.
So easy, put him in the cell.
Plus, I actually think what you're saying here, Thomas, is we're going to see all of that sort of come together, like the Matt Lesher, the Tom Cavanaugh, all of that sort of come together. So we'll see. I think they're going to try and give us like, well, Paige, you think they're going to give us the origin story, right? That's what you think we're going to see?
I think it's going to be one of those things where Barry tries to avoid creating Reverse Flash, but it's one of those things that's inevitable. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. And I think he does that by making Eobard Thawne realize that he becomes a villain in this episode.
Right.
In some way, or like teasing it or whatever, and then, all that stuff. Because the thing is, at this moment, there's no Flash Museum. Right. There's nothing like that. So, and Reverse Flash wouldn't really be a news thing at the moment. Like the speedsters that would be known in Central City would be Zoom, Godspeed, the Savitar, maybe even like those type of speedsters. No, not even Savitar. We're like Zoom and Godspeed with its.
And that eats him up every day, knowing that he is not the most well known rival for the Flash. So King Mike Todd's with the 499 super chat. It's a plot hole. They should have just have Tom be the Reverse Flash from the beginning now because they're. So I have always felt that would have been the most logical thing to never do the body switch in the season 1, but it's already happened. There's nothing we can do about it, and it's been used on Legends of Tomorrow. We've seen it in other stuff. So we just have to live with it. I stopped caring about it because I just understood the logistics of having Tom Cavanaugh there, and Tom Cavanaugh is so good with Grant. I'm not saying Matt isn't, but Tom just has history with him. That whole first season, all of those issues happened with Tom Cavanaugh's version. So I just feel like he's the one that everybody sort of relates. Would you agree with that? I know everybody loves Matt Lesher too. I love Matt Lesher. But would you say that most people prefer to see that rivalry between Tom and Grant or instead of...
Well, I think it's mainly because that's been the thing. Like there's not really been that much confrontation between Grant's Barry and Matt's Eobard. Like the stuff at the end of season 1 is really not a thing for the most part.
Right.
And then like he's Tom for that. And then like when he gets shot, he turns back into Eobard, isn't it?
Yeah.
He turns into like Matt. And then there's a season 2 episode and then there's Flashpoint. Like I said in my video, I think that came out today, that the last time we saw him was episode 1 of season 3, over 100 episodes ago.
Right.
There's been 100 episodes of The Flash since the last time he was actually on an episode, not counting like
Matt Lesher's Eobard is
footage.
actually more well known for Legends of Tomorrow than he is for the Flash.
But that's the thing that gives me some excitement because he was always good with Katie in those and like scenes he had with like Katie Lotz or Sarah Lance and some of the other characters there.
Yeah. So
that's why I'm intrigued to see some of this stuff here. My question is like how Eobard is he?
Right.
Is he meant to be like young, like not innocent Eobard, but like not, drunk the Kool-Aid Eobard, if you know.
And I know this isn't related to the episode, but I am curious about your thoughts on this, and the chat can also chime in. Do you think, looking back, that the Flash season 1 made a mistake killing off Eobard so early in the series, like at the end of season 1? Do you think that was a mistake on their part to
Yeah, but
erase
that's
him?
the thing. It's so easy in hindsight to look back at that.
No,
Like,
absolutely.
I think at that time, it was the right thing. I don't know how. Like, what would you do? Like, they weren't able to defeat him. Like, the only way they were able to defeat him in that moment was by someone killing themselves.
Well, no, I think they could have just had him go to the future and not try to kill anybody.
They could have had that, but I think it was one of those things. Wouldn't he just, like, he succeeds in his mission,
Right.
and it's just like it makes.
It would have been ballsy. We've had shows
It would have
where
been
the villains
ballsy
have
because
won,
you pretty much
like-
leave Team Flash with an L.
Right.
When even though they sort of took an L, but it was sort of like a minor W, minor L at the same time at the end of season 2, at the end of season 1, but they took something from it. But I
Right.
also think that what they did at the end of season 1 opened up to season 2 and everything like that. So I think it's as I said, it's so much easier in hindsight to like. I don't like really looking back in hindsight because it's like a
Yeah, I
cheat
know.
code.
Yeah, it is. But I also feel like that's kind of the question. Like in hindsight, do you think that was
Yeah, in hindsight, the answer would be in hindsight, my answer would still be no.
Yeah.
I don't think they made a mistake. I think they made the right choice.
Okay. The chat seems to be kind of divided on that. Amethyst says season 9. This is a Team Eric member chat. I can't pull it up on screen. Legion of Zoom, Grodd, possible young heroes. I don't know if we'll see Grodd come back. Do you think Grodd is necessary to come back, or
I don't know. Well, right now he's in a good place, so it'd be weird if he randomly came back and went "I kill" or something like that. Like, I don't think it makes sense.
I think the young heroes, like seeing more of the future speedsters and maybe future villains, I think that is a possibility. I think they could totally do that. Legion of Zoom, maybe. I don't know.
Legion of Twerk.
Yeah,
That's what
possibly.
I want.
We'll see. We have another super chat from Amethyst here, 499 super chat. The ending was Crash. It set up so much and would tie Argus, Diggle to Star Labs with Fast Track, perhaps Young Speedsters, etc. So let's go ahead and talk about that then. We had the stuff with that, and then at the end we see Barry finally track down the speedster that they thought was a criminal, which ends up it wasn't, because Mina owns the building and she owns the technology. But she has found a way to give herself speed, but it's not permanent. So she was taking the tech to try and fix that, to either make it last longer or to make it permanent, I think is what we were getting at. And spoiler alert, we've seen set photos of her in costume, so we know she's eventually going to do that. But that whole scene was really cool. What did you think of that ending scene? Was really awesome because he's so much faster than she was. She couldn't get away from him. And he was just stopping her at every turn. And I saw some people questioning what kind of speed force she's generating. Do you think, because the title is negative at the end of the season, do you think that it is the negative speed force, or is this something else that she's created?
I think it's a proto-negative speed force. I think the whole point of Earbuds here is that this is his first step in making the negative speed force.
Okay.
So it's not a real speed force, it's a speed source. That's probably the best way to describe it. But I think it's meant to be like a proto-negative speed force.
So you think this is why this is the beginning of the Reverse Flash storyline?
That's why I think there's there's a lot of connective tissue there where it easily could be. And I think just because I'm pretty sure Eric Wallace said in an interview that now that Barry knows how he created Reverse Flash, he's always going to try and avoid it, but there's just some things you can't avoid. And I think that's why he said that, because we're literally going to get an episode based around that, most likely being this one.
Right.
Now, the only question I have is that we know that it's Tom Cavanaugh at the end of the day, at the end of this season. So what happens with the Matt Letcher version? I don't think Matt Letcher would come back if they just randomly killed off his character.
I didn't think we would see him after Legends. I thought that was the end of his run as
You know what's interesting though? He posted on Instagram that on the day the trailer came out, it was like things that die come back in June or something like that. Like it was like a quote from a poem or something like that.
Right. I like the idea because, okay, so we know Eric Wallace isn't great with interviews, but he did say that one of his things he wanted to do was to wrap up the season as if he was wrapping up any loose ends from the show so they could give a proper ending when he started writing it. And I think that is telling the story of the Reverse Flash. So I think this would, because he did say we will see in the final episode where they had planned on ending without a cliffhanger before the cliffhanger starts. So I think there's going to be a definitive ending / beginning to the Reverse Flash storyline at the end of the season, and then setting up whatever we're going to get in season 9. Would you say that's a fair, realistic concept for them to do? Like something that we could expect to see?
Say that again.
that we'll see a wrap up for the ending / beginning for what the Reverse Flash storyline is at the end, and then they're going to set up season 9. I don't think this is going to carry over into season 9, right?
No, I think like if you're going to get the end of the Thorn, it's going to happen in this.
That's what I'm asking. Yeah,
yeah, because especially when Eric Wallace said that like they wrote this to be a series finale for the most part.
Yeah,
and then it was like altered to have a stinger and not be a clear ending and stuff like that. Right. I personally think this is the end of Tom Cavanagh's Thorn. Mm-hmm. Now, not Tom Cavanagh on the show, because I'm sure they'll be like, look, we got to get back as Timeless Wells or something like that at some point, which obviously that character's like hacked so they can do whatever they want with him whenever they want. But I'm curious whether we like what next season is. Like, is it going to be young Eobard Thawne? It is like that Reverse Flash story, like origin played out more like the early days of that rivalry, or like I'm curious, and I'm sure we'll get an answer to it when the finale is and whatever the stinger is. I'm sure we'll get an answer to it, or at least a hint to it, whether it is the straight up cliffhanger or something in the minutes before that. But maybe this episode could tell us and give us a hint as well.
So 2 more things I want to talk about before we wrap up our thoughts on this episode. One is we did see Caitlin dial into Star Labs and basically say, you know, after what Barry did, I decided that, you know, I don't want to be there for a while or whatnot. Do you think this was the right direction for a character, the right decision for them to do, for her to step away and sort of reassess everything?
Well, I think it's just plot wise because she wasn't going to be able to do episode 18. So I think it's like, So,
but I mean, outside of that, do you think it makes sense within the context of the show?
I think it makes sense. Yeah. Like obviously she's not happy, and you can tell by Barry's reaction. He's like, oh shit, maybe I did go too far.
Yeah. So I thought this was a good way for them to sort of cover up her not being available. To me, when someone can't make it for an episode, give us something like this and I'm good with it. I'm like, okay, it makes sense to me. One of the other things somebody brought up, and I brought this up on Twitter and you were giving me the L for it, is how did Eobard know about Frost? You didn't explain, how did he know about her?
Okay, so what decade were you born in, Eric?
I know where you're going with this, but I'm going to tell you why you're wrong. But go ahead. I was born in the 70s.
Okay. I was born in the 90s. Some people might be born in the 2000s. Uh-huh. Some people might have been born in the 80s.
All right.
When was Eobard born?
He was born in the future.
And there's your answer,
it's
Eric.
Not, so you mean to tell me he knew that Frost was going to die, but he didn't know that Barry was going to depower him and lock him up?
Because he had the time stone.
He should have no issue beating Barry if everything is exactly the same, right? So that tells me that things have changed.
Eric.
He would have no idea that Frost died because he doesn't know what happened and what didn't happen.
Eric. Eric.
Mm-hmm.
Eric.
Yeah.
Eric.
Am I making too much sense for you right now?
You've lost it. His memory's going to be updated. We've learned this back in season 3.
Well, then how did he get caught by Barry and have his powers removed?
Because it wasn't meant to happen.
Then he doesn't know if anything. That doesn't make any sense.
Because he didn't know it was meant to happen. He thought he was going to be erased. He thought he was just going to be like.
Do I have my CW shill card here? My
no, hold on. It's over there. See, you got the spider on the wall.
Everything that has happened from the time he left and came back, if his memories were updated, he would have had no problem succeeding in his plan.
Yeah.
Then that would mean everything is inevitable. But once he found out that something was different, then I guess he would assume other things would also be different as well, which means why would he bring up Frost? That doesn't make any sense. Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't make why didn't he bring up Iris? That would be more impactful to Barry than Frost.
No, because he's the difference. You know why?
Why?
Because he's from the future. He knows Iris comes back. Oh, I'm a genius. Yeah.
Well, what happens if Frost comes back?
She died.
But what happens if Caitlin?
Yeah, but it won't be that version of Frost in this.
Matter.
No. In this moment, you got to realize. No. Here's the thing. You got to realize, Eobard has just taken massive L's. He's in the biggest L situation he's been in currently. I have a better explanation
for it that makes a lot more sense than what you're saying. My explanation for it is
one of the guards came in with a newspaper and went, "Oh fuck
No.
this," and threw it on the ground.
that we're going to find out that Eobard's way of getting out of that cell, he has contact with somebody on the outside.
Yeah, his name's Eobard Thorne.
Maybe, possibly, but that makes more sense than saying.
No,
he
but
just
you know what that would be?
future.
His memory's updating because it's his younger version. Oh yeah, memory's updating.
Wait a
Yeah.
minute, how could it be his younger version if they're both from the future?
Because he was born in the future.
But why would he be an older man in the present?
Because he's from more in the future. Oh yeah, there's so much.
I think it's more
winning.
realistic to believe that he just has somebody on the outside feeding him
Who?
information and then he can.
Who? I mean, what's his thing like? Oh, here's the inside scoop. Frost died. Like, why would that be the information that comes in?
It's more believable than his
You think that's
memories
more
updating.
believable than a guy that's actually from the future and would have already known about
Because
this
so
stuff?
many things have changed chronologically since he came back. It
Came back
seems
from
really
what?
stupid to me that he would let himself get caught and let him have his powers taken away. Literally, the best thing that he has about him is his powers. But sure, he remembers that Frost died.
Yeah, because that's the thing. It wasn't meant to happen.
Well, then how does he know the
Hold on,
Frost
I'll
thing
just-
happened? He doesn't know. It could have changed.
Because
He
he's
has
from
no
the
idea.
future.
See, you're talking in circles now. That's
No,
all it is.
you're talking in circles. I've given you the answer, and you keep
I'm-
just
because I'm
winding
telling
it
you-
back to that exact same conclusion.
But your answer is a straw man argument. That's the problem.
A straw man?
Yeah, because saying
Don't
he's from
insult
the
me
future-
like that.
Look, saying he's from the future is not an answer to him knowing this one thing, considering everything else that has happened to him that he did not predict. How many times has Eobard taken an L over the last 3 or 4 seasons since time has been drastically changed? But the one thing that's the same is Frost dies. That makes no sense.
But how many? But name the L's.
Every time he battles Barry, when they were fighting Godspeed, he didn't know that Barry was faster. He didn't know the situation with Godspeed.
Yeah.
He didn't understand anything of that. He didn't know anything about the Legend of Tomorrow stuff. He didn't know anything about the things going on with Crisis. He literally has not been able to predict anything. But the Frost death, that one is
Because
believable.
he experienced it.
He was
Like he's
not
able to look there and go, Frost died.
But he
All this stuff that you're
everything.
mentioning is stuff that happened away from Eobard. That's like me saying, Eric.
When
No, Eric.
Eobard-
This is what. No. Okay. So you know I ate cereal. You know I ate some cereal today.
Right.
Okay. You know I ate some cereal. That's what I had for breakfast. It was quite yum. And I was a bit cold because it's a bit cold this morning.
Uh-huh.
What I had for dinner for last night?
What difference does that make?
Because I told you that I had cereal, but you don't know what I had for dinner.
But he has seen what Barry does. That is
I know.
all
He
public
sees what Barry
knowledge.
does when it's in front of him. All that stuff you're mentioning happened when he didn't see it.
If he were able to predict the future, then he would have never been caught off guard by anything Barry did. Period.
What do you mean?
Because he would have already read about it. He would have seen in the paper, the Flash defeats Reverse Flash and puts him in jail. Like, he would have seen that. He would know that was going to
No,
happen.
because that was alternate because Godspeed came back.
So if that's alternate, how could the Frost...
Because he was in the Speed Force. He wouldn't have updated. It wasn't his current thing.
That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense.
I know. I think this is going to be one of those. This is going to be one of those. What was the one we had like about 3 months ago where I think we ran it for about 40 minutes and we still
No, we're not going to go on
agree
about it. I'm just, the last thing I want to say about it, and we'll see what the answer is, because I do believe we will get an answer to this somehow, some way.
Look, here's the thing. This is going to have to be on. Do you have layaway? Do they call it that in America?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so we're going to put this conversation on layaway, and I'm sure we'll probably get the answer this week. I think we'll get the answer this week.
Right.
So everyone, and I'm putting myself up because I could take an L. It'd be a very big, rare thing because we know Eric's the king of L's.
All right.
I mean, look at my profile picture. It's him at the L Society getting his trophy for weekly L's. But so we're going to put it on layaway. We'll come back 7 days time from now and we'll see who took the W, who took the L.
We might not know till the end of the season.
Oh, well, hey, someone's nervous. Someone's getting nervous.
We can check. We can check on the next episode, but we
We
might not
will.
find out till
Well,
the
no,
end.
we'll do an update. We'll do an update. So
Okay.
we'll put it on layaway. We'll come back in 7 days' time. Everyone, we're going to hold us accountable. You know,
You know
let's
what?
see how it
Here's
goes.
the deal. I'm going to put a poll up on both Twitter and in the community tab for YouTube and ask which one they believe. And
No,
then
because we know you're going to get stupid people. Let's not do that.
but the thing is, we can see next week whichever group you can give.
Oh,
everybody
okay.
an
Well,
L.
I guess that's a good thing. So we can hold more people to L's potentially.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like more people can be held accountable then.
So if you want to be on the L side, vote DJ Eric's side. That's the best way to put it.
All right. I want to see a score for The Flash this week. I know for me in my review, I said it's hard for me to score it because one half of the episode was complete and utter shite.
I'd
And
say
the other
about
half
3/4.
Yeah, but the other half was some of the best Flash stuff we've had in a long time. So for me, it was tough. I ended up giving it, I think, a C, which would be like a 7-ish number wise. So I'm curious what everybody in the chat would think. I just score wise, I'm very interested. All right, Martin here with a 1999 super chat. And I think this is a 2-parter. Thank you for supporting the channel and doing all of the timestamps. I always appreciate that. I began watching the Arrowverse shows during the mid-season break on Crisis on Infinite Earths, and I always comment pertaining to The Flash. There are some fans who think the first 2 seasons are the only good ones. Others say, the first 3, and others say the first 4. Where do you and Paigey fall in this category? For me, the first 2 are the only good ones. Well, I've ranked them. There's only a couple of seasons of The Flash that I really don't like. Like if we were to go back to Arrow, say for example, Arrow. The one season of Arrow collectively that I think was absolutely awful was season 4. I think season 4, with the exception of a couple of things, was a failure of a season.
Yeah.
But every other season has ups and downs that I think are good. Even some of the bad ones, like the last season, which started out really strong and then had an issue with that. As far as The Flash goes, there is only one full season that I did not enjoy that I think is, for me, the worst season, and that was season 5. I think season 5 for me is one that I will never, ever enjoy going back to watch on a rewatch. I didn't like the suit. I didn't like the plot lines. Now there might've been some solid episodes in there, but I think collectively for me as a season 5 was the only season that I probably would choose never to watch again, because I think all the other seasons have redeeming storylines in them. But I will say my favorite season of The Flash, my number 1 favorite season is season 2 and then season 1. Those are my orders. And I think most people would flip-flop between those 2 seasons because they're so close in my mind in terms of quality. And what do you think about this overall?
In regards to Flash, yeah, season 5 is the worst season. Season 7 is the second worst, but season 7 still has some fun stuff in it. Like, it still has episodes that are redeeming and everything like that. But season 5, like, I can't think of any episodes where I was like, oh, that was really good. Like, I can't really. Like, season 5 was just.
You can argue the reverse Flash stuff in the future is good, but that's.
But even then, that's not like that's just like part of an episode, and then it just comes out at the end. Like, so season 5 is the worst. If I ranked them, like, I completely disagree with you when you say the first 2 are the only good ones, because I think the one we're in at the moment is
I didn't say that. You're saying you disagree.
No, I'm talking about Martin.
I'm
talking about Martin because he's the only one that says it. I think this season's very good. I'm enjoying the hell of it, and based off the ending, I think it's going to be very, really, really fun. I reckon, but I don't like talking too early. But based off everything this season, it's probably going to be my 3rd favorite season.
Okay.
And so before this, and I won't include 8 just because it's not done, but I have season 1, season 2, season 6, season 4, then season 3, then season 7, then season 5. The only 2, but I'm sort of the opposite. I think there's only 2 bad seasons, which is season 7 and season 5. Mm-hmm. So I'm on the opposite of Martin.
Yeah.
Where he says there's only 2 good ones. I think there's only 2 bad ones.
I have a bigger affinity for season 3. I would rank season 3 higher than a lot of people because I felt like
that's because you like the musical crossover. So like we know why season 3 is so high.
Until the reveal of Savitar, the season was a pretty good season, with the exception of Duet. But I think that the storyline was really good. I think the predictable Barry is in the suit reveal was fun, but also took too long to get to it. And once it
took too long for such a reveal.
Right. So I would say for me, season 3 would be my 3rd. It would be 2, 1, 3 in my top 3. That would be it. And then season 6 after that. I put season 6.
But that's without including 8.
Yes.
Yeah, so you're gonna wait till eight.
I'm gonna wait till 8 finishes.
I think it's hard because it could shit the bed. That's the thing with season 3. Season 3 was good for like the first 2/3 for me,
right?
And then it shits the bed.
I would actually say this season, depending on how they ended, has the potential to be one of the best seasons of The Flash. Considering Armageddon at the beginning was really, really good.
Yeah, Armageddon was good. The Deathstorm arc was good. It's just been like some of the I think. Was it Gwendolyn
the
that
bottle
said it?
episodes, the interlude episodes have been.
I think Gwendolyn might have said it where some of the focus on the side characters is annoying, which I agree with because you can do it well. Because I think the stuff they did with Caitlin was pretty good. Even the stuff with Chester was fine for the most part as well.
Yeah. Trying to find Gwendolyn,
but it's just like Allegra and Cecile where things sort of start to fall apart.
Did my chat like freeze up here? No,
it's not. It's moving for me. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no, it had to refresh there. Yeah, I saw that comment as well. And Gwendolyn here, too bad EW doesn't get the no one. I mean, no one cares about Allegra. You can force her down our throats as much you want to change opinions. I have not seen anyone be excited about.
Do you think Allegra is like, what's a vegetable you don't like that your mum would have made you eat when you were a kid, Eric?
Like Brussels sprouts. Do
you think Allegra is the Brussels sprouts of the Flash for you?
I mean, maybe.
For most people?
I kept giving
for
them.
For me, it's like warm tomato.
Right.
I don't like warm tomato. I'd like. It feels off to me. It just feels unnatural.
I want to say that I have ran out of lifelines for them to fix Allegra. I think this episode for me was the one where I'm officially like, I don't care about the character. I think we've given them every opportunity to give her something good, and it just never happens because any independent story she gets that doesn't connect with either Barry or Iris or one of the main characters is awful. It's just bad. And that tells me that she just doesn't work on the show. So,
yeah. Can we go to Thomas Scott? I'll use your full name.
Yeah.
Because Eric Wallace doesn't read social media. So you told me about in an interview that he did that he said he doesn't read social media.
Yeah.
I call bullshit on that because he did another interview after Armageddon and he said that he saw the reaction online and he appreciated it.
That's why when he said that, I was kind of like, what? He doesn't.
Yeah. So after Armageddon aired, so this was like that break, we had that long break before like over the new year and like the first couple of months of this year.
Yeah.
He said in an interview that he's like, yeah, I saw the reactions to Armageddon and it was really, I was really appreciative of that.
It was on that podcast that I talked about this past week, Between a Rock and a Hard Place. Or
yeah, so in that one, he said he doesn't read them online. Right. But in that interview back in like, I guess it would have maybe before it came back in like March or maybe late February, he said that he did read it. And I was like, well, which one is it?
Yeah.
Do you read online or do you not?
Yeah.
Do you read online? That's just terrible English. Do you read
social media or
do you read Word?
All right, so Martin here with another 1999 super chat. Thank you so much, Martin, for the support. Unpopular opinion, I still think season 4 is. See, you and Ben both, because he would say the same thing.
Yeah, so that might be an L for Martin because he agrees with Ben.
I was seriously considering dropping the show after that season, but I was looking forward to the crossover, so I forced myself to keep watching. Now, I'm going to say this. One of the things, there was 2 things in season 4 that I had an issue with, but looking back, I realized it's not the worst for me.
Girls Night Out.
That was the fact that I did not like Ralph initially, but then he grew on me. So
remember that massive W I took with that?
Yes, you did.
That was. Do you think that's probably the biggest L and biggest W I've taken?
Probably.
But that's the biggest L you've taken, biggest W I have.
Yeah, I would say that's probably accurate.
That was like, and everyone was against me. That was like, everyone else is a horde of zombies. I'm coming through. I've only got a sword and like a Molotov cocktail, so it's like a one thing. I can only use it once.
Right.
And I came through that stinking bunch of corpse
as
from the top.
Would say you came in like a wrecking ball.
Oh, mate, it'd have to be one of the greatest victories, not in just like review history, but I'll just say in all time. Like
maybe it's iconic.
Like we go. Muhammad Ali might be like, the champ is here. No, the champ is here.
Yeah.
After that season 4 victory, that was a massive W. And big L to you.
Yes.
Big L to everyone else.
Yes, pretty much. I would say that a lot of people did not like the Thinker because of the way they handled the character, where he started out with a really good connect. Like, so the Thinker and Barry, great scenes in the first half of the season. Very, very good stuff.
Yeah.
Very creepy, set it up. But then when he started jumping bodies.
Honestly, you could argue minus sexual tension.
Maybe.
I'm just calling it out as it is.
When he started jumping bodies, I think that's when people started to have a disconnect from that character because it became a little weird at that point.
The issue for me, the thing with is that I appreciate the body jumping to an extent because I think it made sense for the character that happened, but it went on like twice as long as it needed to.
Right.
So my thought was that maybe they should have had something else at the beginning of the season for like the first 5 or 6 episodes, and then you like the body jumping doesn't start till like episode.
Right.
Like how many? It was 22 episodes that season, 23, whatever it was. Like maybe the body jumping doesn't start till like 14, 15 or something. So then it goes for like 3 or 4 episodes, and then he fully adapts his like final form, if you want to call it.
Yeah. I will say also, some people are saying that costume was one of their favorites. That was my favorite until the one we have now, till the season. Well,
the
even
Flash
before
suit.
the gold boots. Yeah, yeah.
I like the concept art better than the actual suit itself.
Yeah.
Though I still like the suit.
It never fit proproperly is the problem.
I think it was just like a material. It was never going to be that overly form fitting.
Right.
And I think if it was, it would have been like a death suit. Like I think Grant
so
might have like passed out.
I'm actually going to, let me open this up to look at. This is a shot of the suit because I wanted to kind of look at them side by side without the gold boots, but you still get to see it here. So this is the season 4 suit versus the season 7 suit without because the gold boots. Just imagine that it has gold boots. It's pretty much the same costume.
I'm trying to imagine.
This suit material was meant to make it look more like a comic book suit, but it's too loose. It doesn't fit properly. And that's the only issue I have with it, because otherwise I think it's definitely a very cool design. But looking at the reds next to each other, look at how red the new suit is versus this season 4 suit.
Yeah, it looks like it's like an apple versus strawberry.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I still like it. I would say it's my second favorite suit next to the one we have now.
Have you noticed that? Did you see like how that thinker scene with him in the hallway was around like trending over the past like 2 weeks on Twitter?
Really? The one with him fighting?
Yeah, we're using all these powers and stuff like that. I don't know. I just randomly saw that trending on Twitter.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'll just be a random scene from The Flash that starts trending.
I forget what the reason was, but I remember seeing that as well. I think it was in connection to Morbius, wasn't it? I believe it was. Somebody posted it like because of the Morbius fight where he jumps around from people to people or whatever. I think that's what it was, honestly.
That's a random connection.
So, Gary, thank you so much for the super chat. Good to see you. Always proud of you. Never mad at you. Thank you so much. And Gary is leading us into our next topic with the 199 super chat. We're going to be talking about Superman and Lois, season 2, episode 13, titled "All Is Lost." And Gary's question is, do you think Kyle and Lana will get back together? For Kyle's sake, I hope so, because without him being with Lana, I think his story is a 100% dead end on the show. Would you agree with that? I don't see how Kyle can continue to be on the show without being part of the family, right?
Yeah, so it's either he boom, boom, boom.
Yes.
Another one bites the dust. Oh God, Eric, you're meant to be a king of the music.
I know. Thomas says literally
Jesus
a dead end.
Christ.
Yes, I would agree. Thank you for the super sticker.
God. Hold
Gary,
on.
I appreciate it.
I'm really annoyed at that. I'm really annoyed at that. You left me hanging in the worst way possible, and I'm really disappointed.
I'm trying not to get a copyright strike.
Oh, you can just speak. You don't have to sing.
Another one bites the dust. I can't say it without saying it in key.
You just go, another one bites the dust. You can just speak very enthusiastically.
It's hard for me to
Eric.
do that. The urge to go the
You
other
have to
way.
speak so America all the time.
Gary says, do you think Lana will forgive Clark? Yeah. I mean, obviously that's.
I think she'll have to, especially after.
I actually think it'll happen within the next couple episodes. Probably.
I'd say might happen next episode, sooner rather than later. We don't have an episode this week again. I've just realized.
Right, it's off. Is it 2 weeks or 1 week off?
No, it's just 1 week off, and then the final 2 episodes there, and then it finishes the same week as the Flash. So on, I guess Tuesday American time you have Superman, then Wednesday you have Flash. The 2 finales.
Yeah. Okay, so this week we get great stuff with John Henry and Natalie. He finds out about her suit, demands for her to get rid of it. He tries to destroy it and takes the L because she used the XK to upgrade it. And she seemed to be very happy about that. I think he was pretty happy about or proud of her for what she did, even though he was annoyed that she kept it from him. Did you expect him to find out about the suit this soon? Because it was kind of quick. It was like we learned about it, and then he learned about it like almost immediately.
I think it would have been weird if it went too long, and especially if he's running diagnostics and stuff like that. But I guess the thing is, like, why, like, Natalie couldn't have used like someone else's computer or something like that. Like,
You mean not use the same exact one that her dad
the
used?
same exact one, and just sort of, it's like, I don't want to get too graphic, but it's like 14-year-old boy using their mum's computer for what, not deleting the browser history.
Of course you would go there.
Oh, what's this? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Wasn't me.
She's like,
it was Dad.
Which suit would you like to char? Oh, well, obviously mine. Is there another one? But the suit was in good shape. Like, it was basically done at this point, which means a lot of work had been done since they went to the mines to get the XK. And we do get a chance to see them working together as a team. We know when Ally is attacking Superman and the General and, the folks from Lucy and all those folks. And we get to see her actually save Superman with the suit because of Ally attacking him and her, basically using the defibrillator on him or whatever to bring him back. What did you think about the design of the suit? Because we've seen the steel suit for 2 seasons now. Did you like the way hers looked? Did it feel real to you? I see a lot of people complaining that they thought it looked too squishy, that it didn't look like a real material. I thought it looked fine to me. It was fine. There was no issue.
I thought it looked fine. I didn't. Yeah, I think I didn't even know people would have been complaining. Oh, actually, we're just talking
a lot of the ones with like hashtag
everything.
Restore the Snyderverse were complaining about the way it
looked.
Oh,
okay. I saw them. I thought it was Bring Back Supergirl. That's what I saw on.
Oh, okay.
Supergirl season 7. Oh, sorry, that was a new DC TV show video. Sorry, getting them confused.
Everybody that's arguing about whether or not it's Lois's daughter. Yes, Natalie is Lois's daughter genetically, but it's not the same Lois. So everybody's right. No one's wrong. She is Lois's daughter. She's not this Lois's daughter. No reason to argue about that. It's a weird thing to argue about in the chat. All right. Let's see. We get to see the storyline with Ally, who is, we get to see the backstory for Lucy, how she got wrapped up into the cult to begin with. And Ally has plans to merge the Earths together using power from other Kryptonians, specifically Superman. Were you frustrated with Lucy this week? I was like she keeps going back to the family and then immediately doing something awful right after that. This is like the 3rd time this has happened this season where she's been like, I want to be part of the family. I love all of you. No. I want to go back to Ally again. Like, this is the 3rd time it's happened. I was like, how many times are you going to get tricked?
It's like the dog. It's like the dog that keeps going to the toilet inside the house. Like,
it was really like, I was so frustrated because I thought for a second when Ally came in and Lucy was there with the family, I'm like, okay, we just had this great bonding scene between the family. Lucy is going to make the right decision. And then she didn't again. Now, people have argued that Lucy is actually a bad character, that they think that this version of Lucy is bad. I think this version of Lucy is way more interesting than the one from season 1 of Superman.
Well, the one from season 1 was like, oh, military girl, and I'm only here because they couldn't get Lois Lane. Like, that's pretty much what season that Supergirl Lucy Lane was. And like, oh, Jimmy needs a girlfriend, I'm here. Like, that's pretty much what it was. This one, there's actual depth and history to the character, and there's a reason for her feeling the way she does and why she sides with Ally. And I don't think they do it like, oh, she just sided for no reason. Like, Ally brings her in, and Ally manipulates her and coerces her to join her and strengthen everything that's going on, to the point where in this episode, everyone was willing to just bail. Like, everyone in that room was willing to bail, and Lucy seemed to be the only one holding them to get, like, convincing them to stay.
Right.
Because Ally had formed that bond with her so tight and pretty much got her completely under her thumb, pretty much attaching herself to Lucy like a
parasite.
Oh, Eric, you've done it.
Yeah.
The first time in this stream you finished my sentence. I feel like you're my parasite.
Staggervore here chiming in from the Lucy storyline as well, saying, I'm really hoping at this point Lucy finally realizes how wrong she was about Ally. I would like to say by the end of the episode when she's talking to her father and she feels like she's made a bunch of mistakes, that Lucy would not take Ally's side again. But we've seen this time and time again from this character. It is possible that she might once again agree with Ally, but I'm hoping that this was the final.
Well, I think the
straw.
difference is that this time she's seen it firsthand.
Yeah.
The other times it was all, oh, Ally was doing this. It was all like, coming from another person, whether it was Lois or whatever. But
Yeah.
this time she's seen Ally almost kill her dad, and Ally, I guess, in Lucy's eyes at the moment, presumably almost, if not kill Superman.
Yeah.
Her sister's husband.
And Jordan here says
Brother-in-law.
Lucy from Superman and Lois is better than Lucy from Supergirl. Yeah. The Supergirl Lucy was a one-dimensional character. I don't know how anybody could see it other than that. I don't. Let's see. We had, I think it was B. Allen who said that she's fighting years of brainwashing.
Yeah. And manipulation and everything like that.
Yeah. And Gwendolyn here says, I can't stand Lucy. She's annoying, could kill her off, but I know it would bother Lois. There's his comment there. And Cal says that he liked the Supergirl version of Lucy. Did it ever come out if Lucy had a doppelganger on Bizarro World?
She did, because didn't she say she saw her other life there?
She did, but what happened? Was that never... Did we never ever see anything on
Because I think the
Bizarro
thing is that just because she saw her other version, it doesn't mean that that version was aligned with Ally.
That's true.
We just don't know specifically.
Yeah,
And
that's a
maybe
good
we learn, because it seems like surely we go back to the Bizarro World in some fashion soon. But then again, we don't know what the effects are like, because I guess they're trying to merge the Bizarro World into the normal world. Does that Bizarro World get affected straight away? And I guess Superman can't travel there either, because Ally's just all sort of in the middle, like going, hello. And also he's knocked out and out of powers. That's probably the main issue. But
We have another super chat here. I couldn't pull it up on the screen, so I can get it now. From Laszlo Sun with a 99 super chat. Thoughts on the Collector being the big bad one season? That could lead to Superman building the menagerie of alien zoo animals, which turned into lead to a focus on Starro. That's very space related. I don't know if the show is ready to commit to a story about space. It seems to be very... It's telling the story of Superman in this environment in Smallville with a lot of character stuff. I wouldn't be against this, and I've seen a lot of people say that season 3 needs to be more cosmic. Do you think that's a good direction for the show, or do you think it needs to stay kind of where it is right now? Because I think Starro being connected to like Peacemaker and Suicide Squad, I don't know if they would use that on the.
I prefer if, like, it's hard to tell, because I don't really like have too many expectations on what they should or shouldn't do.
Right.
I just want whatever they want to do, like they can do it well. Like, you're not going to go too far to the point where it's like beyond your means and you're cutting corners or whatever it is. Like, just do what you know you can do, if that makes sense.
Right.
And that's all I want from the show. And I think they did that well last season. I think they've done it well this season for the most part, with 2 episodes to go. I don't know if space is necessarily needed, at least in regards to venturing there. Like, if something from another planet comes here, then fair enough.
I feel like we wouldn't be able to get the high quality effects that we get on a show if they had to spend so much on space.
I
Right.
think you'd be sacrificing a lot. Even if it was on like HBO Max, I think that'd still be like, it'd still be a tall order.
Because being able to do things out in that big open space that they're in for filming makes it easier for them to do the more expensive shots and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think. I would not mind like this menagerie of alien zoo animals, but I feel like that might be too close to what Supergirl did, where they fought aliens from that crashed ship. That might be too much like the show was in its earlier seasons. But we'll see how that goes. So we had another super chat here. Daniela with $20, 20 sec super chat. Seems Lucy doesn't know Clark is Superman. Has this ever been addressed? I don't think she does. Do you remember them ever discussing this? I don't think they did. Right?
I don't know. I can't remember.
I'm gonna go
A
out
lot
on
of the
limb-
stuff where Lucy's shown up, it's been when Clark hasn't been there.
Right. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that she does not know. Only because it doesn't seem like she does. So we'll just say she does it. The next episode we'll find out, because we know that Superman, the end of the episode is Superman is saved by Natalie, but doesn't have powers right now, which means the only people we have defending the Earth at the moment is going to be John, Natalie, and Jordan. So if she's going to find out or know about it, it will probably find out in the next episode, depending on what's going to happen. By the way, before we give our final thoughts on this, I do want to bring up, I loved that they had the scene of Clark training Jordan. I know the green screen wasn't great. Look, I've seen all the comments about it. It's been on my video. People have been saying on social media. Yes, that scene had really wonky green screen. I'll acknowledge it. But I don't care. I thought it was a good scene. I think it was great character development for both of those characters. And it's something that we have not seen in live action before. What did you think of that scene with Clark training Jordan?
Yeah, I liked it. Like, I think the green screen was only wonky when they did like a long shot of them, like
Yes.
a big shot of them,
That's
where
what I saw.
they're
Yep.
clearly standing on, like, they're not standing on snow or
Yeah, the
ice or
close-up
whatever it
shots
is.
were fine. It was the big
Yeah, the close-up shots and like with Jordan flying and stuff, they were like fine. But it's when they did those like long shots away, those far shots, I'm like, oh, why couldn't you have just like zoomed in? Like that doesn't look good at all. But I like that scene. Yeah.
Yeah. So Lance dropping in here with the 99 super chat. He goes, Superman and Lois season 3. Paigey twerking is the villain. There we go. I think
I don't know. I think I'd be able to throw it back pretty well.
Okay, well, maybe we'll see that if anybody can come up with.
Maybe it's so well, it's disastrous.
Well, there we go.
But the issue is like, what are you going to chalk? Like, what's Superman going to chalk? Are you the new ally for Superman in season 3? I'm very intrigued.
Jurassic World was great. Forget the critics. I enjoyed it. I don't have an issue with it. I think some people are expecting too much out of it.
Is this your Marvel shield coming out though, Eric?
Yes, it is 100% for Jurassic World. Laszlo again with the super chat, 49 super chat. The writers could always put their own unique spin on it, though. I agree with that, but I think the thing we have to remember is it's still a TV show, and one thing has to get sacrificed. Either we get a very watered down version of a cosmic story that has to be very cheaply made with a lot of corners cut, or we get more earthbound stories where maybe one alien is present and that character gets a really good story for a whole season. I think the idea of a lot of different aliens and traveling through space and things like that, it's just not, I don't think it's a realistic expectation for us. They could blow our minds and do it, but they may try it and people will go, see, this is why we hate TV Superman. Like, you'll see all the people online doing that. I prefer for them to just be really smart about what they're doing. Superman and Lois, for me, both season 1 and season 2, it's still, I know we have a couple episodes left, have managed to surprise me. And that's something that I like about the show. So I just want them to continue to do that. Continue to flip the script on me, make me think one thing and then do something else. And I love that about Superman and Lois. They managed to do it. And it's something that I loved about the early seasons of The Flash that we haven't seen for a long time. And one of the things Paigey and I talked about when we talked about season 1 of Superman and Lois is it's a lot easier in the early seasons to do what they're doing than it is with a show with like 4 or 5 seasons under its belt. So I want them to just continue to do that for me. I'm going to trust that they're going to make the right decisions. I feel like the show has been really good. So for me, I just want them to continue doing that. What about you? Would you rather them like try and push it and go to space and put their own spin on it? Or do you think?
I think the whole point of the show is that that's something that shouldn't happen.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Last thing we see is Ally is pulling Bizarro Earth and Earth together. And that is the last shot of the trailer before she tells Bizarro Lana to kill Superman. So we know that's going to happen, or not that she's going to kill Superman, but she's going to go after Superman. And this is going to lead into the whole Kyle Lana storyline because now Superman doesn't have powers. I saw some people saying, why not just inject him with like solar energy like they did on Supergirl? I don't know.
But do you think that they might give Clark X kryptonite, or Clark might take XK?
You mean to sort of jumpstart his powers or something?
Or just to give himself powers if he's like, this is like the only I can't get my powers back, but was screwed if I don't
That's
do
a
something.
good question. I mean, they
'Cause
might.
he would know how to use them. He would know how to use
Yeah.
them. Like
He would-
unless I
Right,
someone else who took it.
he would get back the powers he's already had, so it makes
Yeah.
sense. Or do you think he's going to go to Bizarro Earth and he'll have powers there because something got switched in him?
Well, I don't think he can go to Bizarro Earth while Ali's there. And how's he meant to get
that's
there if
true.
he doesn't have powers?
Well, I've read online, at least I saw somebody say that one of the actors said that the Earths will start to merge. That we will see.
You see that in the trailer. You see the red sky.
I haven't watched
It's
the
like crisis
trailer,
is
so I
coming.
didn't know, so I didn't see that. I didn't watch the trailer for the next episode.
You just said you did.
No, I didn't. For the Flash, not for
No,
Superman.
you said
Alone.
for Superman Alive. You said the trailer. Unless you misspoke.
What did I say?
You said, and then at the end of the trailer.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't mean the trailer. That
You
was
meant the
definitely not what I
episode.
meant. So yeah, the episode. Yeah, totally. That was a mistake on my part. Yeah. So at the end of the episode, we get to see Ally merging the Earths together and the Lana situation. So I think it was a solid episode for me, and I can't wait to see where we're going to be. I hate that we're getting another week off, obviously, but we're at the end, and so
It's an annoying one as well. You're just like, oh,
yeah,
like, just air it.
yeah. Okay, so what is everybody's score of this week's episode of Superman and Lois? I'm very curious. Yes, I've heard about Diggle, and I think we're gonna get answers finally.
So, would you say this finale, like the season 2 finale, Superman and Lois, I guess leading to season 3, will finally give us the answer of whether you can wiggle the Diggle?
Maybe Supergirl will show up. What would you think about that? If
Please don't. I've been clickbaited enough for the past week. I can't take another one. I wish you'd spat out that Sprite or choked on it. That would have been.
it almost happened.
That would have been.
That was
Especially with
almost
the
3
Sprite,
hours.
I know would have been stingy if that happened.
Yeah, all over
Is
everything.
that Sprite cranberry?
We don't have Sprite cranberry here. We just have regular Sprite.
Don't you get Sprite cranberry at Christmas? At LeBron.
No. I think we had it 1 year, like 2 years ago, and then no
Do you
more.
have those giant Skittles?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I know. Anyone know else from America? Have you? Because they came out in Australia like 2 months ago or something like that, and they're just giant Skittles.
All right, so before we talk about the Ezra news, couple announcements. Number one is that myself and Lance are going to be reviewing The Boys on Mondays of each week, so you'll get to see it this Monday. We'll be doing episode 4. We had a lot of people tune in and support the one we did last week. I know it's a new genre of show on my channel, but I want to continue to do it. So if you guys want me to continue to do content like that, please head over and support that video. It is up now. We talk about the first 3 episodes. Omega might be joining us for some of our reviews of The Boys. So Paigey might drop in one day if he's watching the show. I don't know.
What the hell?
What?
No, I'm just saying that apparently Ezra Miller is on the run from the cops.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about that. Hold that thought.
Okay, so this is the first time I've heard of it.
I saw that before we started. I do want to talk about that here. So we'll be reviewing The Boys. Those videos will come out on Mondays. But if you really want to see more content like that on my channel, please head over and support that video. And I'm also doing quick reviews of Ms. Marvel as shorts. So if you want to see my thoughts on the episodes, do that. The Weekly Geekly is going to be reworked so I can review those, but it will not be a live stream. I'll be adding a new live stream weekly that is not that. So I'll talk more about that when we get there. All right, before we talk about the Ezra stuff, we have a super chat from Tony Roseman, a 1999 super chat. He goes, "You fear the lack of depth of the villains related to Superman and Lois could be a problem till the show continues, or do you think the season set up for a bigger villain for all the separate storylines to connect to a villain?" So I guess that's the complaint, that Ally isn't a very compelling villain like Tal Rowe was in season 1. I don't know how I feel about her. I need to see how they're going to end the story, how this is going to wrap up. I will agree 100% that I don't think they've done the best in setting her up as a villain, because I feel like she hasn't been present in a way that makes her seem, I don't know, well thought out. But each week we seem to get a little bit more of her. Like we got to see the stuff this week with her and Lucy, and you see how manipulative she was there. And then all the stuff that went on over on Bizarro Earth and what she managed to do over there. I think a lot of Ally's more threatening things have happened off screen.
I personally think I think they've actually done a decent job. I think the issue has just been that we've been on so many breaks.
Yeah.
and you
So you
think,
think that's the
oh,
bigger problem is the breaks?
I
and
think
the momentum?
people that watch this on a binge, whether it's a rewatch or people just watching initially on a binge, will enjoy this Ally character much more, because I think the issue has been these breaks. Because people are saying the same things for a lot of the characters on the show, and I think it's like a lot of people seem to be hammering on. It's like, oh, there's so much Lana and Kyle. I'm like, but I think it's just because that's what people are remembering, because there's been so many breaks, and in a lot of the trailers and stuff, they sometimes have that as well.
Yeah.
So I think on the binge, this will be much better,
And
and that's something that they need to address going into season 3. Is if you're gonna have breaks, that's fair enough, but don't have them so often. Like, you know, if you're gonna have a break, air 7 episodes, then take a month off. Don't take a week off, then air 2, then a week off, then air 2, then a week off, and air 2. Take that 6 weeks off, and then air the final 7 or 8 in a row.
because a lot of people said they thought that Jonathan L was a better like villain in 2 episodes than Ally was, and I think that's partly because we know that character.
But that's I think that's the thing. It's just that I think the only reason that people thought that John L was better was because we've known Jonathan for an entire almost 2 seasons.
Yeah.
But what's his backing? That like he didn't like his dad, so now he's angry at everyone. Like,
the other thing is they did the bait and switch with the whole like, you know, Bizarro Superman, and then he was like kind of the villain for like 3 or 4 episodes. And then it ended up being Ally, and we thought that it was going to be a Doomsday thing. They've done a lot of like playing around with, you know,
but they've shown the influence of Ally while she's not on screen.
Absolutely.
So that's why I think they've done a pretty good job with her. Is it amazing when I give it a 10 out of 10? No, but I think they've done a decent job where I'm excited to see how they wrap it up and everything like that. I'm very curious to see how they defeat her, because she is overpowered as hell.
Yeah.
So my only thought is that I think they set it up with the John Henry thing when they're trying to make his suit not be able to be drained. I wonder if they are able to reverse it where that she can drain from him, but it's not his life. It's from like an energy source, and she gets overpowered.
Yeah. Or Superman,
Like-
or they put Clark in the suit somehow. You know what I mean? Maybe.
Yeah, but even would it make that much of a difference? If
Well, no, but I'm just wondering, because I feel like whoever faces her in that suit is going to be a sacrificial lamb, basically, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't think they'll die, but I think the only way I can think that they defeat her is because the pendant's destroyed.
Yeah.
As well, and nothing happened to her. If anything, obviously she's gotten more powerful since that point. So the only way I can think that they defeat her is if they like overcharge her, or like if you want to use like a water balloon analogy.
Yeah.
The more water you put into it, eventually it's going to explode.
Sense. Right. All right. So this is where, if you're watching this on playback, this next portion may be gone. Maybe
edgy, yeah.
We're going to talk about this Ezra Miller drama, this continuing story with Ezra, and some news that I think could actually be career-ending news. This could be a career-ending story.
And it opens up another discussion in itself with something else.
Yeah. So I'm going to be very careful about how I word this, because I want this to stay in the video. A lot of the news YouTube channels that I watch, they have to tiptoe around this because YouTube is very strict about the way they allow people to talk about things like this. So, all right. Ezra, back in 2016, was in an inappropriate...
Oh, I thought you'd bring up do you have an article, or is it...
I do, but I don't want to even put the words up on the screen, because I don't want to. So I'm just going to kind of read over here.
Edgy.
In 2016, he was in an inappropriate relationship with someone who was underage.
Not just underage. Underage.
Yeah. I don't want to say the age, but just say they were very young. And this was on a Native American reservation, I believe, is where this all started. And for years, no one knew the extent of what was going on with this individual. And I guess the parents became aware of it. And now this person is 18 this year. And the parents are trying to charge Ezra with inappropriate things regarding their child, their daughter. Now, I would love to say that we have some statements from Ezra's team, but apparently they can't even serve Ezra the papers because Ezra is on the run. They are missing. MIA, nowhere to be found. No one can find Ezra at this point.
And I will run away.
Which tells me that this seems to be...
Jesus Christ.
He knows that it's true.
This is... So you know how you use the word "that's fucked."
Yeah.
This is that with a capital F.
Right.
And you know what? A capital D at the end as well.
Yes.
Some emphasis.
So I want to point out that what he is being accused of, along with all of the other stuff, is that he was sort of manipulating this underage person and convincing her that all of this stuff was above board when obviously it wasn't. And now she is saying that she doesn't agree with what her parents are doing. And she's an adult now, and that she has no interest in pursuing any of these allegations. But that is part of what the parents are accusing Ezra of, is manipulating her into believing this. So this is a tough one. I think this, for me, out of everything that Ezra has done, everything they've done in Hawaii and all these other storylines, this is the one that I think could potentially be like, Ezra may end up getting charged, and this could be it for his career. Because this is bad. This is really bad. And I don't think there's any way that Ezra could talk themselves out of this. Like, I don't think there's any way to put a spin on this.
I don't know how you talk yourself out of this.
Because this isn't the only girl who has accused Ezra of things. Remember on Instagram?
And that was more of a domestic abuse sort of thing.
Right. But if you put all of this together, there is a history now of.
Oh, yeah. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to. But it's just that. I don't know if she's said anything since then. I think she just sort of wanted to voice it out. But I think she also. Maybe she knew there was other stuff going on and decided, look, maybe it's not my time to speak at this moment in time,
right.
whatever it is.
So this is a wild story. It's obviously very soon, because I just saw that Ezra was on the run right before we went
Bonnie
live.
And Clyde.
So I don't know any more than that. And, we might update this. I might talk about it next. We'll see, maybe on Twitter or something, if we get any more stories on it.
Ezra was apparently 23?
22, I think is
22, going on 23 when this started. So he was 10 years older. Well, I gave away the age, but anyway, I didn't say the age. But
No, but you didn't. But that's fine. I don't mind that people know it. I just didn't want to actually say the age on here. Look, multi-topic talk with their $5 super chat. Once they catch Ezra, I hope they're sent to psychiatric wing of the jail. Clearly need some help since a lot of issues. I think at this point, the sympathy is. I think people are
the sympathy vote. It's. And obviously, you don't want to jump to conclusions, because this could all just be.
These are allegations, but I think
this could just be a lot of allegations that come out.
I will say Ezra being on the run doesn't make it look good.
That doesn't help. And at this point, it's not a psychiatric thing. It's just general jail.
Yeah. I'm not going to say that I don't think they should try and help Ezra if there is something happening, but I think we need to just focus on what's happening with the people that have been affected by Ezra at this point. Because it's obvious now that whatever is happening with them has been going on for a long time. And the fact that Ezra's on the run, that's the thing that makes me so willing to believe that what is being said is true. I'm not going to jump to conclusions. I do want to wait to hear what is said, but I don't think there's any way that you could spin yourself out of this at this point. And if this in fact happened, which it seems like the person, the 18-year-old who was the root of this allegation, is confirming that it did, regardless of whether or not she believes that it was consensual. The confirmation that it did happen seems to be probably what spurred Ezra to go on the run.
Yeah, and we're assuming that this girl is on the run with him.
Yeah.
Because she's not with her parents.
Yeah. So it's a wait and see story, but I'm going to just put it out there now and say this doesn't look good for Ezra.
How bad do you feel for Andy Muschietti? Apparently he's made a really good film.
Yeah.
That's a crowd pleaser that does really well in regards to pushing the DCU forward. And you got your main actor touching kids potentially, like slapping people, punching, whatever it is.
I'm going to ask you a question. Now that we know this, say for example, this story continues to develop, and because I think it will, and we get more and more information about what happened, what is the likelihood of WB just taking a big, huge L and not putting this movie out?
Well, this is the thing I was thinking. So someone was saying, I can't remember where I saw it was on Twitter. I know it was on Twitter, but it was like an industry person. They said from their estimations to reshoot all of Ezra's stuff because he played 2 or 3 roles, at least two roles in the Flash film. So I think they said on estimation, it would be about 100 million to reshoot, to rebuild sets, bring in actors again, general paying of the replacement actor, whatever it is. They estimated around 100 million reshoots. Now, in comparison, like I think the Justice League reshoots was 30 million when, before, like to get the one out in 2017. Right. And they filmed for about 2.5 months.
This movie's cursed. I'm just going to put that out there.
I know 100 million sounds a lot, and it surprised me as well. But then I thought, well, hold on. They probably have to they weren't expecting to do reshoots. So they have to rebuild sets. While
and
with
that
Justice League,
that also doesn't take into factor having to hire a new actor and pay that actor for their work, too.
And then bring in other actors and all this different time. And most likely, and I think 100 million be if they legitimately reshot it as well, like did the same thing. And they have to go to locations. It'd be ridiculous. So when I heard that, I was like, that sounds like a lot. But at the same time, I was like, he's in so much of the movie that he pretty much is making the movie again. Yeah. So it would cost that much.
So do you think if they're not willing to reshoot this film, do you think Warner Brothers would be willing to risk the public outrage by putting a movie like this out? Do you think the actors would want to go promote this movie now with this?
Well, you just do no press tour, no premiere. You would just have to release the movie.
But do you think they would still put it out in theaters?
I think they would release it in the theaters because you got to try and make some money back. And the thing is, I think it would still make its money back. I would still go see it because I still want to see it. I still want to see this movie. And I'm a big person in regards to separating the art from the artist.
I think this one is different for some people.
It's got to be because it's a different thing because it's a trigger point, and I 100% understand that. So if someone said I'm not watching it because of Ezra Miller,
there's going to be people that are going to say that.
I would 127,000% understand what you're saying. But for me, I'm it's something that's never affected me, so I'm able to shift my mind and I can just enjoy the story and whatever it is.
Well, I mean, you're also a big fan of true crime, so you're used to watching stuff with sketchy people as the.
Well, yeah, so I may as well just think that this is a reverse Flash origin story. Maybe that's what I'm watching in the movie. Yeah. But I can 100% if someone doesn't watch it. However, if this is all true, if even a slither of it is true with the potential grooming and stuff, because anyone that does even gets into that should be locked up for life. That's disgusting. I would be backing a reshoot.
Yeah.
At least a partial reshoot in some way, shape or form. I don't know how you would go about it. I don't even know how you'd go. You wouldn't want to be in not just Andy Muschietti's film or Andy Muschietti's shoes where he's put his a lot of time and effort into this thing to just see it being. Did he wipe his Instagram, Ezra Miller?
Did he? Staggervore here says marketing for the Flash will be tainted. I would be surprised if they don't just stop marketing it altogether. Honestly.
Okay, yeah, he wiped his Instagram, but there's one post from February 18th, and all the comments are calling him a pedo or a groomer, and Eric can associate with this just giving him an L. Or someone said hi, daddy. Well, that's weird.
I think that's sarcasm. I don't believe that's real.
And then him saying to whatever the girl's name, Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
Tokoda.
Some people are saying maybe they'll just release it on HBO Max. Do you think that's an option?
You still got to promote it and everything like that. I think you're still better off releasing it in theaters. Yeah. I think it'd be Warner Brothers making a stand in regards to not in whatever way you want to put it if they did put it on HBO Max. But even then, they're still promoting their streaming service because people will always subscribe to watch it.
Do you think they would push it back at this point now that this happened? Do you think?
I don't know if he can. I think it's so important to what they're doing going forward. But the thing is that now you got to. I'm sure they had a massive plan going forward for the Flash to be one of the top 3 or 4 heroes in this universe, which he should be.
Yeah.
Like the Barry Allen or the Flash, whoever's playing him, or whichever version it is, should be.
I mean, we're getting to the point where we're losing heroes because of this stuff. I mean, we've lost Superman. We lost, Ben's Batman. Now we're going to lose the Flash.
It's like, like, as I said, it's such a sticky situation to be in. And I think that the silence from Warner Brothers is concerning, especially like after you had like Walter Hamada, Hamada come on and like talk out of his ass. Like, no, we're gonna limit her screen time because of chemistry. And I was like, bullshit. No one with half a brain believes that.
Yeah.
No one with half a brain believes that. You're gonna diminish the time because of all this Johnny Depp drama. So
I'm just kind of, I don't know what they're going to do here right now when we're talking about this. It's pretty wild stuff that's being said. Because somebody just pointed out, they're like, so we have the Aquaman 2 debacle, obviously with Amber Heard, and then we have the Flash.
Well, did you see with the Amber Heard thing, they now have a version which is 20 minutes of screen time, which catches Walter Hamada in a lie?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, in the chat, leave your thoughts and opinions on this because I really don't have much else to add to it. Ezra's on the run. I guess we'll see if they get caught.
What's that song? Band on the run.
Yeah, I mean,
what's that? Wings. I think it's Wings. Can we get it? Ezra on the run.
But I hate to leave on a bad note. Matter of fact, let's not do that. Let me talk about something good that I haven't talked about in like 4 videos, and that is the giveaway on my channel. So if you didn't know, I'm going to be giving away
I thought it was the twerk along. Boo!
I'm going to be giving away $20 either on Amazon as a gift card or a Cash App transaction. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber to my channel, leave a comment on.
I do have a dad joke, by the way.
Okay, we'll wrap it up with that. Leave it on any video for the rest of the month, and then the first after party in July, I will announce a winner. All you have to do is either put Amazon at the end of your comment or your Cash App name at the end of your comment. Somebody's going to win $20, and it'll be announced again in the first after party of July. So you have the whole month of June to do that. So there we go. And now to wrap this up on a semi-good note, Paigey has a dad joke. So let's see what it is.
I must say, I'm surprised. It really concerns me how many people in the chat are still against Amber Heard after that trial. But anyway, it's really concerning. Like, hello, switch on, people. But anyway, dad joke. How does a non-binary samurai take down their foe?
Oh, no. I don't know. I don't even want to try and give an answer. What is it?
They/them. Good night, people. Have a nice day.
All right, there we go. That's it. Have a good night. We'll see everyone at the next after party. Take care.